Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Blockbuster Year 1985. Tonight, we're moving in to house. Jay Ryan has been sucked into a bathroom mirror portal, I guess. He should be joining us shortly, but we're going to pop in the tape. Hello, everybody. Normally, Jay Ryan is here. He was here at the top of the show. He disappeared. I don't know what room of the house he's in currently. But we are joined tonight by a friend of mine. Nerd Locations is with us tonight, all the way from technically South Carolina, but right on the border near North Carolina. Rayan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I can't wait to jump into a little house and reminisce about this movie that I actually saw in the movie theater 3 times when I was I was an 8-year-old kid, and I used to
Oh,
drive my bike.
wow.
I used to ride my bike to the theater, and I got to see it 3 times in the theater. But back then the matinee and the like noon matinee was like $2. So I saw that movie in the theater 3 times. I don't even
That's
know if you were born yet.
No, I was not. I'm 1992. So all
Oh,
of these movies we're talking about for this show, I never got to experience originally. Some of them I had seen in theaters, in re-releases and celebrations and anniversary screenings and all that kind of stuff. Um, if people don't know Rayan, Nerd Locations on Instagram, on YouTube, uh, Rayan finds incredible locations. I remember,
oh,
so
thank you.
I first found out about you through our mutual friend Adam the Woo, and the locations you find, I'm always so impressed. Here he is, Jay Ryan, fresh from the bathroom portal. He's,
I'm so sorry, you guys. I just rebooted my computer. I'm trying to. Oh, there it goes. Now are these working?
I think so, maybe
Oh,
not.
okay. As long as you can hear me, I'm not hearing you through these though. So anyway, I'm
Oh
sorry
yeah,
about that.
I think there is a slight echo. Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna.
Okay, Jay's gonna figure that out. I'm just gonna remove him. He'll get that sorted for a second. Sorry. Yeah, so we first met, and the locations you find, there's lots of great movie locations, but one of the things that I always love, and you post these great photos of like iconic musician photos.
Oh
Like I'm
yeah,
I'm thinking of that Ozzy Osbourne on the front steps.
yeah,
Um,
in New York.
album covers, just like other locations that people don't maybe always think of, right? Like movie locations are a big thing. Lots of people cover movie locations, but you cover those plus lots of weird esoteric locations as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, no, I'm a musician. My whole life I've been a musician, and I lived in LA for a long time. Actually, 3 different times: late '90s, um, early 2000s, and in 2013. And I would see things from record covers. I'm like, wait a minute, is that from the Motley Crue album cover? Is that from Phil Collins or Johnny Cash? And I'd go home and research. I'm like, oh my god, it was almost like I could pull it together, and I just find those just as fun as filming locations, even though
Totally.
there was a way bigger audience for filming locations. It seems like, but like you said, sometimes people are like, "How'd you find that Ozzy Osbourne picture or wherever?" But
Yeah.
that's another love I have is finding pop culture stuff from movies or movies are great, but I really like to find like a behind the scenes of them filming, and then I'll do that. Like we did that in when we were up in Hope for Rambo,
Yes.
we found a production still, and me and Adam lined that up. So those are, I love doing that. I also do a little bit of vlogging on YouTube, not much, but a little bit, and I'll also kind of co-host a podcast named Idiots in Bars, which
Yes.
is exactly what it sounds like. We're just three Generation X idiots sitting around a bar talking about pop culture and movies and stuff.
Yeah, and I've got Nerd Locations channel linked in the description below, as well as the Idiots in Bars channel in the description below already.
Yeah, and we've talked about you quite a bit on some of the episodes, and how
Yes.
great your collection is, and how crazy it was that how we met. You know, we've shown the BC DeLorean crew some love. So
Yeah.
if you like this kind of stuff and you like movie talk and music talk from the '80s, like Bon Jovi and Motley Crue and Def Leppard, we're the guys that talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Before we get any further, Jay Ryan, welcome to a blockbuster year, 1985.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Nerd
It's all good.
Locations.
These-
Everything. I checked it. Everything was fine, and then
No, it
software
happens.
update. I can't explain it.
I'm
here now.
Saying before the show, I don't know, Jay, if you've ever met Rayan. You guys were obviously both at Adam's celebration, but I don't know if
Yep.
you guys actually crossed paths or got a chance to meet at all.
Do you know? I'm not sure either. I know that I follow you for sure on Instagram. I'm not sure if we got a chance to meet. I don't remember talking if we did.
No, I'm the same way. You know, I met so many of Adam's friends that the, the circle of goodness, which I have the pin on.
Yeah.
You know, uh, courtesy of you, Brandon. But Adam had so many friends, so many places. Like we would go I mean, this wasn't his friend, but I didn't go a single place with that guy where somebody didn't know him. And a few times he would be like, "Oh, I remember you from Instagram. You posted this." So he had so
Wow.
many friends. So
Yeah.
well, Jay, it's nice to meet you officially.
Same here, man, for sure. What part of the world are you in?
Just south of Charlotte, North Carolina, but I'm actually in
Awesome.
South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm on the line of South Carolina and North Carolina,
Sure.
and I'm 10 minutes from Charlotte, but my address is South Carolina.
And when you do that, the podcast in the bar, is that a studio or is that someone's basement bar that you put some lights up? Like, how is that set up? Because I love it. I think it's great.
That's the guy whose podcast it is, Chris. He turned a room into his house, or a room in his house into the little studio.
Awesome.
He went to USC.
Remind you of
Film-
anybody, Jay?
No.
I was
just
telling,
just a
there it
little
is.
bit.
There it is.
Only a
Ryan.
little bit, Brandon.
So there's
Yeah.
the Letterman desk and the chairs I was telling you about. Yeah, I was telling Rayan before we started the show, like, hey, I know a guy who also turned a room in his home into a professional studio.
Yeah, so I think I was kind of nerding out with you a little bit when I first saw that. I was like, tell me more about this. I need to know more.
Yeah,
That's why.
Well, the guy Chris, he's a totally like maniac filmmaker, producer. He went to USC Film School in LA. He's won Emmy awards and stuff. So when people are like, we've gotten people on just based off how good it looks, and people think we actually have a bar space we rent out. It's like, no, it used to be a big walk-in closet.
Sounds like we're
that's
living the
so
same
funny.
life, brother.
Well, that's awesome. We'll have to have
People
him
think
on.
the same thing. I'm certain that they say yes just because they think we're in a
Yeah.
pro space, and it's like, sorry.
Yeah, well, they can't say no to David Letterman, right?
No,
That's right. We
crazy.
piggyback on that, of course. Sure.
What about you, Jay? Where are you located?
I'm in LA. I'm a
Okay.
couple blocks from Universal Studios in Hollywood.
Are you in Studio City?
Yeah, Toluca Lake, Studio City area. If you know where that is, I'm right between Universal and Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah, you know what? I may have not met you, but some time I spent with Adam, he would often bring up friends, and he mentioned you. I remember now. He mentioned you because I remember Studio City, so that's awesome.
Yep. Good memory. That's exactly right. And he was always over here because he would stay at the Hilton that you can see from my place.
Yeah.
And he would always eat at the Bob's Big Boy, and he was always walking around the studios around here. So he was always in this area or on Hollywood Boulevard, which is like 2 miles away.
Oh yeah,
Well-
I probably went to Bob's with Adam 20 times. That was his space.
Yeah.
He loved
Yeah.
Bob's.
Last night I spent with him was his birthday this year or whatever last year there.
Oh wow,
Spaghetti with chili, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's his favorite meal.
Well, Jay, just so you know, the reason I know Rayan is because Nerd Locations came up to BC with Adam for that trip. They went and did the Rambo filming locations, the 1990 It filming locations, a bunch of British Columbia tourist stuff. But at that time, and you've told this story, Rayan, on the Idiots and Bars podcast. I have that linked below, but I did not know either of you guys. And as such a fan of Adam, I just thought that you guys would enjoy my car collection and all the things that I have in the garage. And so I was reaching out that week like crazy. Every possible way. I was commenting on Adam's videos. I was trying to, message you through WhatsApp and Facebook and like every Instagram, every possible way. And I said this to you after you talked about it on the Idiots and Bars episode, but I just have to thank you so much for taking a chance on me and my dad, because it meant so much to me. Because if you were the initial contact, the way Adam had his Instagram set up, you couldn't message him unless you were following each other, right? And that was to protect himself. So that's totally fair. He was a huge, celebrity, he was a very popular guy. So I completely understood that. But you were the first person to sort of message me back. And I know that was a conversation between the both of you to take that chance to drive an hour out from Vancouver east to come and hang out with us. So I really can't thank you enough, because it sparked our friendship. It sparked the friendship with Adam, which then leads to Jay Ryan and everything. It's this huge domino effect, all stemming from that day and that visit.
That's
true.
I'll tell you this, Brandon, and this is exactly how it went down. There's no exaggeration to this. Adam already had the whole week. We were there 7 or 8 days, I think 7, and the next day we left. We were there 8 days, but the morning we left was the 8th day. And we were up there. Adam, when you rode me, I was pretty impressed. I think it was like the 3rd day we were there, and I was like, "Hey man, check this out." And there's no exaggeration to this. He probably got hit up by 100 people around Vancouver to hang out, and he's like, I can't hang with everybody. I'm doing my own thing and seeing my own stuff, and that's And then the last day, the Sunday, I think it was. I'm not sure the exact day, but the last day we were there, we had found out it was going to rain, and he had already had plans. He had the whole week planned, like day 2, Rambo, day 3, It.
Yes.
We're going to go to the Marty McFly or Michael J. Fox's theater. We're going to, but you had been in touch with me, and I was like, "Hey man, there's a long shot, but these guys have great car collection." And he was like, he saw it, and he was like, "That does look cool." He said, "But man, we got our week planned out." Well, the day before, it got rained out. And I said, "Dude, I'm just telling you, man, I just got a good feeling about these guys. It seems nice. And dude, look at these cars we can see." I said, "I've never been in a DeLorean." I said, "I've never, I said, look how cool this stuff is." He goes, "Well," and he took a look at it for a few minutes. He goes, "Okay, write him back and tell him we're on our way tomorrow around whatever time." And, and the stuff like that. And really, it's not even so much me. It was the fact that was Mother Nature who rained on us. If it had not rained, but from the outside looking in, I knew Adam for a long time. We've traveled the country together in different capacities. But as far as his circle of goodness, I think you and your dad and your mom were kind of the last in that official circle of goodness, because you would see them like with the person once or twice, and then they'd disappear. It's just like they didn't maintain their friendship, not in the bad way. It's just Adam was like, "Okay, they were cool, it was fun, but I'm moving on."
Yeah.
You guys actually grew in your relationship. So
Yes.
I think the circle of goodness, you guys got right in there, and you and your dad and your mom were kind of the last of the line of people that officially made it. Because I saw you more and more and more in his videos, where a lot of people you see less in his videos.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it was. We've talked about it so many times because it's so important, but like it was such a great day. We had so much fun that day, just geeking out about all this stuff that we love so much. Like it was one of those great situations where I've always felt like, oh yeah, I think I'd get along with Adam, right?
Uh,
And then to have it sort of like confirmed, it made me feel really great, you know. So um
I'll
Also, I
always
watched that
remember.
video, by the way. I love that video. I can't look at an Izetta without thinking of you and Adam.
yeah.
Well, it was. I remember he was beyond impressed. Like he didn't know what to really expect. He was even saying that. He goes, before we got to your place, he goes, "Hey man, if this is a bummer situation, man, I'm gonna cut it off." So I was like, "All right, well, if you want to head out," and we were, I think, at like the
Yeah, you
fourth
need a
call.
code word.
Yeah,
a,
we
sa-
Yeah,
a
we
safe
yeah,
word.
exactly. Maybe the
basically
dingo ate your baby.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Oh, look, we gotta go.
Yeah.
I,
Uh-oh.
I remember, I think we were on like the fourth car, and I was like, "Hey man, you good? You need me?" I think I was the one that was supposed to be the emergency. Let's go.
Yeah.
He goes, "Are you kidding me? This is amazing." He goes, "No," he goes, "I'm down." And then we got to your what clock wall from Back to the
Yeah.
Future, and he was playing the guitar. I got a photo of it, and he put it down.
Yeah.
And he walked over to me, and Adam, as everybody know, rarely ever cussed, but he
Yeah.
was, but he looked over. He goes, "Are you effing kidding me? I've never seen anything like this." And then at the end of the day, I couldn't explain when you brought the 18-wheeler around Optimus Prime. He was
Oh
just
yeah.
like,
Uh-huh.
he goes, "These guys win, man. Whatever contest they're in, they're the winners."
Bravo.
But but I also got to thank you for reaching out to us and inviting us. It's like you knew we would appreciate it, but you didn't sell it too hard as you guys are going to love it. You just invited us, kind of
Yeah.
like he would do with people. And dude, honestly, besides seeing some of the Rambo and the Id locations, that was the highlight of our trip. And he agreed when we went to the airport. He was like, "Dude, who would have known the last day we would get some of the coolest stuff?" He
Awesome.
was, and obviously he gave you his phone number like within 2 hours. So
Yeah.
I knew then. I was like, these guys are going to be good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, knowing Adam as a fan, just how he sort of operates, in that moment I knew that was a big deal. Like holy smokes, like he wants to stay in touch. So
Yeah,
super
no,
super great day, like just the
Something
best day.
something about you too, Brandon. You fanboy in a different way where you don't come across as like fan. You do it on the inside. Your outside is stoic and you're just chill and you're like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
oh
And I
yeah,
think somehow that doesn't scare people away. Like sometimes people can be a little too intense with their love
Yeah.
for the thing
Yeah.
that sometimes, they pull back. You don't do it.
no,
So
no.
this makes so much sense to me. I wasn't there, but this story makes so much sense.
Brandon took the lead in a lot of conversations and would drop knowledge on Adam, who basically knew everything on some level because he was such a pop culture
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
And Brandon would be
Yes.
like, "Oh yeah, did you know this and this and this?" And
Yes.
it was just so they connected on such a nerd level that day,
Yeah.
And I
That's
gotta
another
say,
thing, Brandon. You're qualified to have those conversations with him. Like you have the knowledge.
Yeah,
and
and
I got
it's just an obsession. It's just like in Adam, I could see the obsession with these pop culture films and the entertainment, right?
And you relate to it.
And I relate to it, right?
but like you said, Jay, he was just so smooth with it. He was just like, "Oh yeah, you like that card? You know this?" And also, Brandon, I appreciate you thanking me, but I got to thank you. That was the first day as a Back to the Future nerd as we all are. I got to sit in a DeLorean. You let Adam and I two. I'm 6'4", 6'3", or six, and Adam's 6'4". Two gigantic.
Yeah,
Oh
two
my
two
goodness.
big dudes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You let us sit in the Wayne's World car, the real one. That's in
Yes.
the Peterson Museum. I was just out there 2 months ago. I was going to get some treatment done for my voice, and my buddy likes cars and went to the Peterson and walked by it. And he's not a pop culture nerd or big movie fan. He's my buddy. He wouldn't know who anybody is. But I'm like, "Dude, you see that car there?" He goes, "You had the Wayne's World car. That's awesome." I was like, "I sat in that car." He's like, "No way." And I pulled up the video of me and Adam singing the Queen song, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "Who let you guys do that?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a long story, but dude, we had such a blast that day with you guys, and I know Adam was really thankful because he would say it later when we were talking, or somehow you would come up, or your whole thing would come up, he'd be like, "Man, I'm so glad we went that day. They're such great people." I think it was after the Goonies thing. We talked, and he told me that.
Yeah.
So, not trying to get too deep on in that, but I don't get to
No,
see you
it's
very often.
important. I think it's a big part of all of our lives, and it was
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he loomed large for all of us, whether it was a fan or a friend. We all really miss him a lot.
Yeah.
Oh man, so much. The worst parts for me is we used to text a lot and DM a lot. Like, oh, the thing about Adam is he knew what everybody's thing was.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
eh, and he knew that one of my favorite movies was Vacation. So anytime he did a vacation thing, he would send it to me. And
Yes.
Yeah.
when he went to cousin Eddie's house and the guy cussed him out of the driveway, he
Yes.
immediately called me. He's like, "You're not gonna believe," but he would find out what you would like or you would like,
Yep.
Jay, and
Yep.
he would
Big time.
always think of you whenever something
I
in his
know.
world.
Yeah.
I
We were
I
Burbs buddies. We love the
yeah.
Burbs.
The last text message I have from him is him sending me a photo of the Popeye village from Malta,
Popeye too. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like just
When
being
he
like,
was in Malta.
yeah.
Jay, did you ever see have you ever see his episode where we walked on Colonial Street and he went to the backyard and the burbs, the fire was still on the pole?
No, but I'm so glad that you guys did that because I just found my old videos of doing it, and I was just over there the other day, so I've been thinking about this a lot. I didn't realize that he ever got to. He told me
Yeah.
he always wanted to do a video on Colonial Street about the Burbs walking around free, and he said he never got to do it. So maybe I
Oh yeah,
misunderstood that.
it was a few years ago. I think
So it does
maybe
exist.
I think it's 3 years ago. What we
Shit.
me him and a couple of other friends took the VIP tour at Universal, and
Oh, okay.
the tour was, that tour is what, $400 or $500, and the tour guide was, everybody else wanted to ride the rides and they didn't care about the back lot, and our tour guide was kind of rude to us about wanting to see the back lot. He basically rushed us through. Here's the prop room. Here's a sound stage that had
Yeah.
never been used. All right, let's go to ride the rides. And at the time, Universal's part of their sell thing was walk where the stars walk. They were
Yeah.
advertising the back lot. So
Yeah, that's right. It was come ride the movies, come walk where they walked. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
and so Adam was I never saw Adam lose his temper, but I could tell he was not happy. And I said, "Man, let's go to the front desk," because he
Oh,
didn't care about
yes.
the rides. He didn't
I
care about the
remember this
rides.
story. Yes.
So I said, "Dude, I got it." So I pulled the person outside. I said, "We just spent $2,000 and part of your campaign." And I pointed to the sign as "Walk where the stars walk." I said, "We got about 15 minutes back there, and we didn't go to any sets. We didn't go to any of the." I said, and I don't know for sure, but I think when the woman realized who Adam was, because he got recognized everywhere, she was like,
Sure.
what did you guys want to see?" And I knew Colonial was on his bucket. I knew Colonial was on his bucket list.
Sure.
And I said, "Can we see Colonial?" And so she got on the radio and called a guy to give us me and my friends and Adam a complete tour. They took us down where Amlin
Wow.
was and everything. We didn't get to go
Yeah.
into Amlin.
Crazy.
But what I'll do is I'll find you on Instagram and I'll find that episode. It's probably 3 years old, but we walked the whole of Colonial and he got to go in the backyard of the Burbs house, and it was, you could tell
Yes.
he
It's
so
Yeah,
It's
you
the
guys.
Providence
Is
house
that the one
now,
where
but
you
yeah.
guys like match up the telephone pole?
yeah.
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You
So
remember that one?
I do remember that video. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm literally gonna watch that tonight because I'm so freaking into it. But I found some home movies that I took on the back lot, just freestyle because I worked on the lot, from 2000, and I was looking at them the other day, and I didn't even realize at the time that the backyard. I started in the Providence backyard because they were shooting in behind the scenes of the Beaver House, which was Tom Hanks' house. I was in the backyard of the Burbs house and didn't even realize it. And then I'm looking at my video the other day, and I'm like, there's the tree. The garage is exactly the same. Everything was identical back then. And I didn't even realize it. At least Adam and you knew what you were doing. I'm like looking
Yeah.
at a
No.
video going like, if I only knew, you stupid. I'm
No,
really
I-
kind of embarrassed about it. I feel like I dropped the ball.
No, I give props to Adam because he had his eyes set on Colonial. When we got there, he was like, that's this, that's it. And I knew a little bit, like the Adams family house or Munster's house, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I didn't. He's the one who
Corey
pointed out
Feldman's
it.
house.
Yes, and he when we got to the Burbs area. He was like, dude, come with me. And we walked through the house and walked to the right. And there was dude, he was geeking out so hard. And
Yeah.
that was,
Wow.
It,
if you could be with Adam and he was geeking, like he was really enjoying himself, that was the best. And,
yeah.
The shed
and
was
he,
still there too. Was the shed still there when you
yeah,
did it?
yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
So Jay, did you ever meet a tour guide there? They called him Wonder Stash. He had the long mustache.
I don't know anybody from that side of things. I always worked on the
Oh,
production side, so I never entered from the theme park.
I got
I
you. I got
took the
you.
tour when I first moved out here a bunch, but I wouldn't remember anybody from that period.
Well,
So,
the
like, if
thing,
I'm driving on the back lot, it was because I was literally driving my car on the
yeah.
back lot, kind of thing.
Well, that guy had been a tour guide there since the first when invented the VIP tour. He was in the first
Oh,
group. And the thing is Adam was showing him stuff he didn't know. He was just like
Oh yeah.
he was
awesome.
like he was like, wait a minute, that's from that. And that like it was like Adam was the guide. It wasn't even the
Yeah.
Yeah.
guy. And
Yeah.
he was so. I know we're rolling on about Adam, which I could talk about that guy for hours. But thanks to him, we still have the circle of goodness, and we're all buddies. You
Exactly.
know,
It's weird. It's weird how this works. You guys said through Adam, you guys met, but then through Adam, Brandon and I met, and the rest of our little Goonie family out here. It's one of those things because we maintain these friendships. Like it's the gift that keeps on giving. Not to make a jelly of the month club, but joke.
Yeah.
but but it just is, and like every time we do this show every Wednesday, I feel like I'm repeating myself 33 times or whatever. Like, Brandon, I love you. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to be doing the show together, but I mean it. I mean it every
well,
time.
Well, I was actually talking to our next week's guest when we were together in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
and I was saying that in my opinion, one of the best things that we can do to honor Adam's memory is to keep these friendships going.
yeah.
Make sure that
Yeah, we
we're
met for a
checking in
reason.
with everybody. Yes,
Yes.
he put us together for a reason because he thought, oh yeah, you guys would get along. Oh, you guys would get along. Oh, these guys are great. But
Yeah.
if we can just maintain those friendships, I think that's the best way to honor our friend is by staying friends with the people he put us
Oh,
together with.
if
Yeah.
he liked you and you were actually his friend, he would often say to me, "Man, you got to meet my friend. He's in Philly. You got to meet my friend wherever." And the thing about him is he was so selfless, and he was never intimidated by any other vlogger, because he knew he had his stamp. And
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
I remember
Hmm.
when he first got his house, we were talking, and he was like, "Dude, I'm like a mile from Disney." I said, he goes, "You know where this is and this is?" I said, "Dude, you'd never believe this, but I've never been to Disney World." And he goes, "What? Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "No, we have a park here named Carowinds." And my mom, we were kind of poor kids,
Carowinds,
so
right?
yeah. So my mom was like, "Here's your Disney. It's up the street. We're taking you here instead of Orlando." And he
Yeah.
immediately was like, "What are you doing next week?" And I was like, "I don't have any plans." He goes, "Come down on Monday." He goes, "If you can't afford the ticket, I gotta be the guy to take you to Disney for your first time." There's a video of that as
Wow.
well. And
Wow.
and the thing is if you kind of look at it, all of us are very similar in the fact of like Brandon inviting us out of the blue, come and just sit in the cars and have fun. You're like, you don't.
Hmm.
We all kind of have a common thread, and Adam had pick and choose the people he was cool with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. He was
but I
definitely discerning.
Yeah.
yeah,
If
and
he
he could take
recommended somebody to you, it was kind of like they've already been vetted. Like, because I met Brandon after he had already told me, you got to meet Brandon.
you know
So,
what
you know,
though.
he had
Yeah,
already prepped me. He's like, this guy's cool. So I knew he would be cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know
And
we'd
it
hit it
was
off, but I
vice
knew he'd be
versa.
cool.
It's exactly the same. You got to meet Jay. Yeah. You'll get along with Jay.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And
And here we are,
by the way, Brandon and I are
34
not much
episodes in.
alike. So how the hell would he even put that together? Like,
Yeah,
that's crazy to
exactly.
me. But
Well,
you're right. 34 episodes later.
no, he was the best, man.
He
And
was.
I'll tell a little funny story.
Sure.
I knew Adam was gigantic, but I didn't really know just how big he was until I went to Disney World with him that day. He got
Yeah.
stopped. I would honestly say he probably got stopped 50 times and was polite to everybody. And this one couple from somewhere said, "We were hoping to run into you down here." They came into Florida, and one of their goals was to meet Adam. And the guy was like, he introduced himself. He goes, "Do you have a channel?" So I was like, "Yeah, yeah, blah, 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 blah." And he goes, "How you like Disney World?" I said, "This is my first time." He goes, So your first time to Disney World, you're getting brought here
Is
by
with Adam the Woo.
Adam, and then
It's like
the,
Roy Disney himself.
Yeah.
well, the guy couldn't comprehend it at all, and we were going to get a lemonade, and they were in front of us, and he was still talking about it. He didn't know we were behind him, and he goes, "It's like that guy's a Make-A-Wish kid or something, man." And and me and Adam just started laughing. I was like bawling, laughing, and the guy turned around. He was embarrassed. He was just like, "No, it just seems so crazy to me. It made my whole trip just to meet the guy, and
Yeah.
bringing you to Disney, and it's just like, he was so humble."
Yeah.
I'll
he
tell you
was.
this, Adam was such a big deal at Disney World that Brandon and I and his dad got recognized at Disney World for just being Adam's friends.
Yes, for just being in
Well,
his videos.
Yeah.
well, that same week we went to Disney, they had a horror convention here in Charlotte called Mad Monster Party. I think I went down there Monday through Thursday, and I came home and then went to Mad Monster Party on Saturday. People were asking me for photos because I was in Adam's video.
Oh yeah.
They're like, "Nerd locations. Can I take pictures with you?" It's just,
Wow.
and the guys, it's just, and I say this all the time. People will ask me, and I'm just like, you're lucky in your life to meet one guy like Adam who changes everything. And he's one of one. And
Yeah.
here we are still talking about the guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Well, we
Living
loved
on.
him very much, and we miss him a great deal. We do need to talk about this movie,
Yeah.
however.
Yeah,
Why bring it down?
All right. Actually, before we do that, because I want to do this, or I will forget. Let's say hi to the chat, the people that are here watching
Oh
live.
my gosh.
Video Power Gaming is with us. Orguni and Dave. Ryan Dole
Dave.
might not be here because he has his own show, but he popped in. Surfer Girl is with us. Who is this here? Oscar's Adventures Turtle.
Turtle.
I like that name. Gannon Appleby is with us. Video Power Gaming wants to hear about this movie tonight. We'll get to it.
No rush. No rush.
Tara Anderson, and I think that's all the name. Thank you everybody for being here and joining us live tonight. As I said 35 minutes ago, we are talking about House, directed by Steve Miner, produced by Sean S. Cunningham. First and foremost, this is a movie that I bought completely blind. I found this VHS tape years and years ago, and it has this amazing artwork. This severed hand ringing the doorbell. The tagline,
Based on the cover, I'd have bought it too.
"Ding dong, you're dead." And then it's got this amazing monster on the back. So this was a film that I found many years ago. For the longest time, I only had this VHS copy, but only recently, in preparation for the show, once we started doing the show, Jay, I bought the Arrow video release of House and House 2, the second story. So for this episode, I got to watch House for the first time in high definition as opposed to VHS quality, and it kind of blew me away in terms of the film quality. Let's say the actual transfer, the restoration, whatever Arrow Video did for this film, I really, really enjoyed it. Rayan, you picked this movie.
Yeah.
What is your journey with House 1985? I will say, not to be confused with 1977's Japanese film House, which is also a very popular film. Great movie. If people have not seen House, the Japanese film, wild, wild movie. But what is your journey with 1985's House?
Well, I mentioned this earlier, maybe before we went live, but growing up as a kid, I lived a mile away from my theater. And on Saturday matinee, you could get in and see a movie for $2. And I was such an 80s horror buff. Anytime Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, any of that stuff came out, I was all about it. And I would I would ride my bike to the cinema and see whatever I wanted to see. But I saw it the first time and I loved it so much for the next 2 weeks, I just went and watched House again. And as soon as my local, it wasn't Blockbuster, but it was my local video store, they would rent stuff and then sell the used copies. I think the used copy was $10, and I bought it and I watched it probably once a week for
Wow.
a year, but I was 8 years old, and
Yeah.
because it wasn't,
Yes.
it wasn't too scary, and there was some comedy in it,
Yeah. Well, it is.
Yeah,
It is the perfect.
I think that was
horror
Reanimator
movie.
for me.
Was that
Yeah.
today?
I was about to say House is the perfect horror movie to be your first horror movie. Reanimator's a bit heavy for a young kid, but I
For
mean,
sure.
I mean, you live your life, Jay. You live your little life.
No. I'm not saying that this is how I would raise my kids by any means. Yeah, no, I think your assessment is really good because this was like a Disneyfied horror movie in a
Yeah,
weird way.
it is a horror movie because it has some like really visceral elements.
Yeah,
but
great
it
effects in a
really
couple
is
places.
comedy forward. It's not very bloody, right? There's a little bit of
No, not a lot of
blood,
gore.
not a lot of gore in general. So what about you, Jay? Had you seen House 1985 before?
Was not aware of this film until we were doing it this week on the podcast. However, when I did the research to go look it up, this was $14.99. I did not buy it. I watched this on Tubi with commercials. It was a very nice HD print, though. I mean, like I probably was watching a version of what you saw. Yeah, I didn't see it at 8 years old, so I don't have that kind of. This entire movie felt like the last 20 minutes of Explorers to me. It was like, wow, we started after we jumped the shark, and now we're doing other things, and I can't really figure it out, and I couldn't figure out how this movie got made or why. But then so doing the research, I saw that there was House 2, second story, and then
3
as I was
and
looking
4.
at just the images, right? Yeah. But just the images, I do remember House 2 because Ari Gross is in that, and I know him in real life as an adult. And then the girl was somebody too, and then also I think the house was the same house from American Horror Story. Here.
Oh, that's interesting. It could be.
Oh, it's not. You would know.
That's in Koreatown in L.A. The house, from House, the movie we just watched, is in Monrovia. It's Primo Avenue in Monrovia, which is near Sierra Madre.
No.
House
wait,
2.
hang on. Yeah, House is 329 Melrose in Monrovia.
Yeah.
House 2.
Oh, okay.
Looked just to me like the American Horror Story house from the first season.
It could be.
Which is what you said. It's down there by like the 6 Feet Under house.
Yeah. Yep.
In the Arlington area, whatever that is.
You mentioned somebody else showing up in House 2. It might be Lar Park Lincoln. She's the actress from
Friday the 13th.
Yes, the New Blood.
Part 7, yes.
Exactly. And she actually
With
has
Bernie.
a connection. She has a connection to somebody who's in, I believe, all of the House movies that we'll get to.
Oh, well, interesting that, this is a Sean Cunningham production.
Yes, well, that leads me exactly to what we're talking about tonight so House is produced by Sean S. Cunningham. Now, that name might be familiar to people because Sean S. Cunningham is the director of the original Friday the 13th.
Yep.
The director of House is Steve Miner, who Sean Cunningham got to direct Part 2 and Friday 3D. So all of these, really the first 2, I mean, Sean Cunningham did produce all 4 House movies, but the first 2 are sort of like very closely knit, I would say. They're very similar tone. Part 2 is actually even goofier than House 1, which really? I know it would surprise you, but
I did watch the trailer and it looked darker. I was like, oh, maybe I should watch this one. It's not?
It's way more silly.
Okay, shit. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. But again, the effects are really great in House 1 and House 2. House 3, so I had only ever seen the first House movie. So for this episode, I did watch the other ones. House 3 has Lance Henriksen in it. Bishop
Whoa.
from Aliens, and like he's from Near Dark. I can't remember his character's name. Very, very recognizable face. You don't
Legendary
recognize his
actor,
name.
yeah.
Legendary actor. And that one is he's pursuing a serial killer who gets the electric chair, and then his evil spirit possesses his house and his family. And then I don't want to get too much into it yet. I'll talk about it a little bit later. But House 4, they bring back one of the actors, our lead actor, William Catt, from House 1. They bring him back for House 4, but the way they bring him back is absolutely insane, and it doesn't make any sense to me, and I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Oh my God. What a franchise.
So
Brandon,
yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead,
No,
Ray.
you were talking about the special effects. The monster on the back of the VHS. You cannot tell me that the Chiodo brothers from Killer Clowns was not inspired by this movie, because the wife, when he shoots her, that looks exactly like a Killer Clown from Outer Space character. Exactly.
Interesting.
But
That's the character that made me think of Explorers.
yeah, but
Well,
but those guys had to have seen that.
yeah. Well, ultimately, I think this movie kind of is like one of the first horror comedies. Nobody was really doing a horror comedy, right? There was horror movies that maybe had some like jokey bits, but this movie is like supposed to be funny, right?
Do you know I didn't realize that at first? It took me until George Wendt brought pizza and they ate Chinese food till I realized that this was like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's a weird tone, and I think it grows on me, right? Like I think it's a type of movie that if you just sort of accept it for what it is, and it's hard, like your first time viewing it as an adult, it's probably hard to grasp onto it. But rewatching it, I was like, okay, I'm having fun in this movie. There was things in it, like actually, we'll get to him, but George Wendt, I thought was like so funny in this movie.
Oh,
He has a couple.
He was the best part of it for me. Yeah.
Yes. When Roger Cobb, our lead, does his like dry run, and he's like dressed in his full army fatigues, he like pretends to pull the door, runs down the stairs, and then does his big jump out of the front door and does that knee slide. And George, and then he goes inside, and then George Wendt's line is like, "Writing looks fun, huh?" Like it's just like, I like that stuff.
And the fact that there's no apologies that George walks his dog within the fence of this guy's yard.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like everything about it is just so bizarre and strange.
He's definitely letting his dog do his business in that front yard.
Did you guys pick up on the food scene that I was talking about before? Like, was I right about that, or did my brain make it up?
Is that
George Wendt brought over pizza and beer, and then when they go, let's eat that downstairs, and they do, and they're eating Chinese food, no pizza.
Was that
I
the
never
scene
even
where
clocked that.
is that where Roger tricked him into coming over and opening the door?
No, it's
that's
when
the
it's
second
with
time.
on the cam. All the cameras are set up right after the knee slide and the dog walking.
Yeah,
and then he opens the door, scares the shit out of our main guy, and he's got a pizza box with a 6-pack of beer on it, and he's like, "Look, I brought whatever." And he goes, "Let's go eat that downstairs." Hey, what are all the cameras for? Don't worry about it. And then we cut to them at the table eating Chinese food out of Chinese food containers and
I didn't even clock that.
Not pizza.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't think I caught that either. The part that makes me laugh, and only George Wendt, I think, could have pulled this off, because the joke had no setup. The joke had no depth or anything to it. There was no lead up to it. He just goes, "Oh, you're Roger Cobb or whatever." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Will you sign this?" And he pulled out just pages out of his
50
pocket.
pages of loose paper from the
Yeah.
No,
Like
it was his book. Wasn't it pages from his book?
like it's like
Dance?
it's so well loved and worn down that it's like falling apart when he pulls it out of his pocket.
But who carries a book without a spine in their around in their pocket?
So
But it was only he's one of the only guys I think that could have pulled that off. Having Richard Mall in it was pretty crazy. Bull from Night Court.
Totally.
We'll talk about him. Before we get too far, I just want to House is directed by Steve Miner. He did those 2 Friday the 13th movies. He also made a very controversial movie, 1986 Soul Man. Do you guys know
Oh
about
yeah,
this movie?
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Was that Thomas Howell?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very controversial movie. I will leave it to people to look up, but it is in poor taste. Let's say, but it's a wild movie about a guy who does blackface in order to go to college. It's insane. Very different time. He also directed the pilot of The Wonder Years, which I didn't know that. So Steve Miner ended up directing a bunch of episodes, but he specifically was the director of the pilot. And on the commentary to House, he talks about how it was this sort of horror comedy that allowed him into those other worlds to get jobs like the Wonder Years, because he was so pigeonholed for being directing 2 Friday the 13th movies, just as like a horror campy, as popular and as great as the Friday movies are, like they are a very specific, almost like B grade horror movie. Like they're just about stabbing and killing and teenage sex, right? Like it's all the tropes of those horror movies.
It's not like you're nailing it 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like, while the fans, we all like it as a movie or whatever, but as far as Hollywood's concerned, Friday the 13th would be considered a joke.
Exactly.
Now it's a big franchise, but back then it would be a low budget joke. We don't expect anything from this. Especially considering how it came to be as the answer to Halloween. It was kind of supposed to be a jokey
and that
nothing that was
to
accidentally a success.
The other film, one of the other films that Steve Miner directed was Halloween H2O, H20 is a Steve Miner film. So, and Lake Placid. That was another one that I actually.
Oh, I know. My old boss wrote that. I love that movie. I was so impressed that he directed that.
I mean,
Betty White and a big alligator.
Yeah, a big
Oliver
big
Platt,
animatronic
awesome.
alligator. I'm in.
Did you know David E. Kelley wrote that?
No way.
Yeah.
I saw it in Steve Miner's filmography, and I was like, man, I have not rewatched Lake Placid since I was.
Dude, it's a fun ride.
Yeah,
I love that movie. Talk about a fun monster movie. Oh
yes.
Bridget Fonda, I think.
I was watching, or not watching, I was reading an interview with him, the director, and about this movie. I tried to do a little homework on the movie, and he goes, because of Friday the 13th, he goes, that was basically made for nothing and made a bunch of money. He said, so the studio was like, hey, we're going to give you $3 million. We don't care what you do, just make a movie. They didn't send people over to go over dailies. They didn't do it.
No.
They basically gave him money. And what's crazy about it, he made it on a $3 million budget, and it made $22 million at the box office.
Yeah, it's huge, which is, it goes to show you that's why there's 4 House movies.
Yeah, they were
Right. Easy way to make a couple little scratch.
Exactly. Plus, if you look at the casting, it's all TV people essentially. Like obviously William Catt, who plays Roger Cobb, is, he does have credits like Carrie, which is a big deal, but essentially everybody involved in the film are kind of like TV actors.
Dude, didn't even occur to me. You're so right. Cheers and Night Court were both on the air at the time with George Wendt and Richard Mole. Whoa.
Exactly.
Brandon, can I ask a question? You mentioned the comedy and the horror. I always think of, because it was the first one I saw, Saturday the 14th. I don't know if either of you guys have seen that.
That
I've never seen
It's not good,
No.
but it is a comedic horror movie, obviously. I don't know. Do you remember what year that was? I think it was around the same time, like 85.
Well, for me, I was thinking it reminded me of the tone of Evil Dead 2, right? Evil Dead 2 comes out in, 87, I believe. And it's a very different tone from the first movie. Let's see, Saturday the 14th. But,
you're looking at, okay.
Yeah, I was just curious because I've always seen that cover, but I've never seen the film.
It's okay. It's very similar to this, actually, where the kid moves, except it's a kid story. The kid moves.
1981.
Nice.
When I was doing homework, my wife asked me, she goes, is this something I'd like? She doesn't really like horror movies. And I'm like, you know what? If there was one horror movie I think you would kind of like, it's this one. I said, imagine Home Alone, but a B-80s horror movie. Because you have the guy at his house by himself. Instead of being chased by the criminals, Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
he's being
It's
chased by ghosts, and there's a comedy element. It's like it's just so unique, and they just crushed it. Obviously, they made three more, but if you ask me to compare it, there's hard, especially in the '80s B horror movie. It was just so good. Like if you at most '80s B horror movies, the director of photography had no experience. If you guys remember the scene where
True.
they were burying the ant, and
yeah.
he put his toe on the thing to lower the casket,
Hmm.
and then it went right to Roger's book signing.
Yeah.
That's A-level DP going on, and I
Well,
mean that.
it's funny you bring that up because the director of photography is Mac Alberg, who also was the DOP on Reanimator. Jay, it's the
Oh
same.
wow.
No shit.
Yeah, same DOP. He shot Reanimator. He shot the Michael Jackson Black or White music video, which George Wendt also appears in as Macaulay Culkin's dad.
I remember that in the very beginning. Yeah.
Yes.
Turn that down.
He shot our favorite film, Jay, Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Do love that one.
Dude, he was probably the most
That is
paid
not
guy.
that is the worst looking of all the Beverly Hills Cop movies. Looks like they shot it on video.
I think that's actually the sets. I think part of it. I was when I was rewatching or when I was watching Beverly Hills Cop 3, I was like, all of these sets are so flat and cheap looking. I couldn't. All of the
You're not
amusement
wrong,
park
but I
and
think it's
back
the lighting
rooms.
that's making them look that way.
Yeah, but
It's
he
weird
also
because if you look at the
he shot
makeup
Good
and how
Burger.
Axel looks, it's all different too.
Yeah,
Oh, I love Good Burger. I love Good
Yeah.
Burger.
yeah, he shot.
I'm a
Good
nerd
Burger
for
as
Good
well.
Burger.
Yeah, that was. I didn't even look up who he was, but I just remember watching it, and I rewound that scene. I'm like, whoever the DP was is way beyond a $3 million who cares
Yeah.
movie. If you go back and watch the shots, his shot selection and his angles, and with the lenses he were using, it's just they're incredible. And I'm like, for a
Well,
1985 B movie, it was
Yeah, $3 million
that's that's part of
little
the
movie.
charm.
Yeah,
the tracking shot, the opening shot is really I thought this was going to be a good movie and I was going to enjoy it based on the opening shot where we're going around the
Right.
yard and everything. I liked that. And then past that, I didn't really see, I didn't see the skill level that you're talking about, but maybe because I was still trying to find the story, I probably couldn't get to
Well,
that detail.
I've seen
And
the
having
movie a
never seen it
ton.
before, I had a trouble following the story because I didn't know. I was like, where did the kid go? Is he here? Why are we in
it
the
is
pool?
very
Like,
confusing. I will say, especially your first time, it's very confusing. And I think one of the most confusing parts about that is something I did want to talk about. And it's how they do the flashback of little Jimmy being kidnapped, right?
oh, with the car
Because-
driving away?
Well, the
And then
car
the
is a
pool.
car is a red herring, but the fact that they're at the aunt's house, I think is kind of because you're like, is it a flashback? Is it a dream? Right?
Yeah.
They sort of make
How many times have we been in this house? It means that
Yes.
he's come back to it twice if the aunt died in it.
yeah,
and
they
he
don't. They're
used
not
to
really
live in it, but
clear as
Thank
to
you.
how many times Roger Cobb and his family have been at this house.
excellent.
When Roger comes after his aunt has died, the movie makes you feel like he's coming back to this house for the first time since he was like a child,
Uh-huh.
right? Not
Yep.
that his family has been to this house visiting or
This is
So
where my kid got kidnapped.
Yes.
This is where I lost my son. This is why I'm divorced.
yeah, so
Well-
it's a little bit confusing. I will agree with you there.
Well, the through line is, if you remember, I think he was talking to George Wendt. He goes, "My aunt always believed this house was haunted."
Mhm.
And he wanted to write his book about Vietnam, so he knew the house was haunted because he believed it was haunted because his aunt believed it was haunted. Until the moment he realized this place is not haunted, that's when everything kind of just cut off. When Bull tried to cut his hand off or whatever, he's like,
Yeah.
it all came together right there. It's like everything he saw and believed in the house was because his aunt had put that in his head. And the moment he was like, this place ain't haunted, he's like, I beat
But-
you.
But it is haunted because George Wendt sees the creature in the closet. So there is some sort of haunting
Well-
supernatural that is attacking your traumas and your fears.
Well, to go back to that real quick, I don't mean to cut you off. George Wendt believed it after Roger told him that. He goes, you know, my aunt believed this place was haunted, and then it became haunted for George. You know, so he was a part of
Interesting.
you know.
Oh, I thought George was a skeptic the whole time until he saw it later, because like he calls when the shotgun, he calls the cops and all that, and he takes the address book and
But-
calls the wife.
We
Maybe-
also know that Jimmy is actually missing, regardless of it being kidnapped or pulled into a portal through the house.
Right.
The police that show up later in the film are aware of Roger Cobb as
They remember him.
as a case file, you know,
You're
his
right.
missing son. So the son is actually missing. I think the end of it is just Roger conquering his PTSD about Vietnam. I think that's what
Definitely.
the movie is trying to say. Like, you can overcome the most traumatic experiences of your life.
I mean,
And
I
that's
would
what he
love to
found.
think that was what it's about. Is that what it's about?
I
I
think
love that
so.
if that's what it is. I couldn't get there because I couldn't. I need to see it again, I guess.
Yeah, you
But
gotta watch it again.
to Rayan's, I wanted to your point before about you thought like the moment he tells George Wendt it's haunted, at that point it becomes haunted for George Wendt.
Which
How
is a
does that
really
play out?
interesting
Let's think
point.
about that. Yeah.
It's true.
Well-
It does make sense because although the only real experience that Harold, George Wendt's character, has is seeing the creature come out of the closet. So there's only, and that does follow that conversation that Rain is
Well,
referring to.
But not
Well,
until
the-
later, right?
Yeah, but
Little
there was
bit later.
never there was
Okay.
never a gap to where he being told it was haunted. He didn't let. I think he didn't let go of that because it was, in the end, it was only haunted for the people who believed it was haunted, like the aunt. And whenever he found it, and he always had ultimate faith that the house was haunted because he lost his kid there in the pool. And when he jumped in the pool, the kid wasn't there. The car sped off, but he knew. He even said this. He goes, "My Timmy is in this house, somewhere." So he had ultimate faith he would find his kid, which sounds crazy.
In the
I
pool.
think,
Wow.
yeah, in the pool. Whoever the continuity person on this film was, definitely didn't weave it together that tight. But that's what I took from it. I thought it's like
Interesting.
it's like the movie It. When the kids stopped believing in it, they were able to conquer him. You know.
But Freddy Krueger too, yeah.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
So
I
it's-
think it's just
Interesting.
it's conquering the fear, right? And
Yeah.
whether that
Mhm.
fear is not believing it anymore or realizing that it's not as scary as you've made it out to be up until this
Yeah.
point, it
Yep.
is it's working on yourself.
Well, when he killed his
okay.
wife, when his wife showed up and turned into the monster, he killed her. But then he saw her again later. He's like, "So did I really kill her? Did she really?" And I think
Yeah.
Her
slowly-
body wasn't in the
I know,
little
it's
cupboard
probably-
anymore.
Yeah,
It's probably my
So-
favorite part of the whole movie because it makes perfect sense that at this point in the film, his ex-wife shows up,
yeah.
right?
Because she got the phone call from George Wendt the night before.
Even though she says, I can't get there, I have to be on set at 6:30 in the morning. So the movie does give you that information before, but I just love the idea of she shows up, we the audience go, oh good, his wife is here. She turns into a monster. Okay, he's having a vision. He shoots the monster, but then, oh my God, he just killed his wife. Has to hide her body because the police are on the way because he discharged a shotgun in a neighborhood. So, but then the fact that like this whole scene, he's like struggling with the guilt of what he's just done, confused about. I just think it's like such a great sequence playing with what the audience has expectations. You're getting to watch Roger Cobb deal with his consequences. The police officer just has to use the bathroom. He's like trying to be polite and offer them coffee. And then
Yeah.
at the very end of the sequence, he goes to check the cupboard and the body's gone. So now it's like, oh
Wow.
my God, was none of this actually real? And then
Yeah.
he goes upstairs and the monster Sandy is back and they have that fight. And that's when the garden tools decapitate
But Monster Sandy is not shot at that point, so it didn't happen, right? He just fired a shotgun at nothing, probably.
Well, that's
Actually,
the
I
whole.
knocked the
that's-
table over.
I wasn't tracking that. She doesn't have a big hole in the monster.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe
no.
she does. I don't remember.
He's-
Back to
he's-
Rayan.
Yeah, he shot her because she turned into the monster, and then he
Mm-hmm.
tried to hide the monster, and then he saw his ex-wife again later, realizing that the monster must have been in his head. And
Oh
because
yeah,
he-
exactly.
because he
Right.
still believed in it. But the right before that, I think again, I think the continuity person probably didn't care that much. But how does George Wendt, as the neighbor who never met, um, the who's the wife,
Sandy.
who never met Sandy? How did he just casually call her up at midnight and
He
have her
he
phone number?
takes he
He
takes
he took
his
the address
phone
book
book.
with him. Yeah,
Oh,
So
from the
oh,
table.
yeah, when they're having
okay,
dinner, they have their ghost conversation.
yeah,
When he's leaving, on the front table is his telephone book, his that little
Yeah.
yeah, that's
address
right.
book. George Wendt takes it and then calls Sandy
Yes.
I
that
got you.
night. Yeah.
To me, George
Okay,
Wendt was like letting on. He was playing along. I think George Wendt, his
yeah,
spidey sense was tingling, but he was just okay, buddy, sure, everything's fine. But
Yeah.
he takes the book, calls the wife, said, "Hey, you better get over here because he's not acting right." And even though
Exactly.
she says she can't, we think she can't, but then it's a
She's
surprise
changed her plan.
after of it
Exactly. And
shows
that's
up exactly,
and
and it
that's what
could
I'm
go
saying.
either
Like,
way.
that's why I think it's one of my favorite sequences in the movie, because I do think for how sort of like wild and maybe not as tight as this movie is, I think that section of the movie is like, I'll say is like perfect. Like that is like perfect screenwriting. The way they've set it up, she can't be there, and then they sort of trick the audience, and there's all like the high tension of him being
Yeah,
caught with the ball. Like I
the
think it's
cops.
a
Yeah,
great section of the movie.
I
Um,
found the cops to be funny. The cop number
oh yeah,
4, or whatever, the black guy was from. He's the captain from 21 Jump Street. Speaking of
yeah.
TV shows on at the time,
well, I
and then the other
actually
guy was on tons of. It was I forget. I know their names.
so
Steve Williams is the black guy, and then
yes,
Alan Autry, who's been in like everything. Dukes of Hazzard, fucking Cheers, Brewster's
so
Millions, buddy,
Yep.
yes.
Popeye.
I did want to talk about Stephen Williams, because not only is he one of the state troopers in Blues Brothers, he's
Oh, of course, yeah,
he's chasing them in the mall, and then him and the other trooper are the ones that the car gets turned upside down. He's like, I'm gonna
absolute,
get
and it's
yeah
been.
yeah I'm gonna get those sons of bitches. Um,
I
but I
forgot
wanted to
about
shout
that.
him out because he goes on to be a main character in Jason Goes to Hell. He plays the Duke, which is
Oh wow,
the cowboy hat
Oh my
wearing.
God,
Yes,
yeah, I didn't know that.
are you
That's
kidding? That's the same
yes,
actor.
that's the same actor, Stephen Webb.
I don't think
Sorry,
I knew
Stephen
that at
Williams.
all.
Stephen Williams. So
Yeah.
I had to shout him out. And while we're on this train, there was a couple
Shoot.
other actors that I noticed. Did
Okay.
you guys clock who that gentleman
Yeah.
was?
Thank you for coming so quickly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so this is Michael Ensign, and yes, he plays the hotel manager of the Sedgwick Hotel in Ghostbusters.
I had no
oh
idea it'd be
my
so much.
god,
I won't pay it.
We can put it
dude,
back.
this movie is
No,
stacked.
no, no.
This movie is stacked with talent, man. It's just for it not to be a huge movie, thought of as a B list movie. Whoever cast the film pulled off a great cast.
Yeah,
Brendan, just from the chat here, Oregonian Dave points out that Steve Miner also directed Forever Young, which is one of my favorite of the Mel Gibson movies.
oh yes, that was
I
on
love
the
the
list.
movie, and again, I hate to keep saying my old bosses wrote stuff, but another old boss of mine, J.J. Abrams, also wrote that one.
I'll have to check out Forever Young. I've never seen it.
Oh, Brandon, you'll love it. I really
I've
think
got
you'll love this one. Elijah Wood
okay.
and I can't remember her name, but
I've got
Brandon,
Jamie
there's
Jamie Lee Curtis.
there's a movie you haven't seen, Brandon. That's amazing. That's probably a
there's
better trivia question than anything in this whole
there's
bit.
By the way,
there-
George Wendt's in that too. It just occurred to me. He's what's his face's best friend, Mel Gibson's best friend.
oh yeah, well it makes perfect sense why he's in it.
You would like this one.
I
Sorry,
got
to thread Jack.
I got one more day player that appears in the movie.
Oh yeah, Mindy Sterling.
Mindy Sterling, and
Yeah.
she has one line in this film, but I think
Yeah.
most people will know her from the Austin Powers franchise. As
Scott.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
she plays Frau in
Frau Blucher.
in Frau
Frau Verbissina? What is her Frau?
yeah. Well, Frau Blucher is, I think, young
Oh, that's the horse.
Frankenstein.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But Frau Verbissina?
For Bissa, but
Yeah. Okay.
essentially she's number one if we're being honest in the Austin Powers.
Oh, is that right?
Well, because not Rob Lowe, but there's
Robert
number
Wagner and Robert
two.
Lowe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rob Lowe.
number two. Um,
I think that's
but yeah.
because Dr. Evil is number one.
Oh, I've never thought about it like that.
Because every evil guy has their number two lead evil guy, and then all the henchmen start. It's like a hierarchy thing.
That makes a lot more sense. Anyway, I had to pull those because I thought that those were three interesting sort of day players to appear in this random low budget movie.
Mindy
Brandon
Sterling,
Miller-
to your credit too, Brandon, is a wonderful improv actress.
Yes,
She's
she
wonderful
trained
improv
at the
actress.
Groundlings school of same school as Elvira and Paul Rubens and
Whoa.
Kristen Wiig. Who else is there? Will Forte, all from the Groundlings in Los Angeles.
Awesome.
That shot you just had up, Brandon, that's the shot that really made me look at the shots as a DP. When they opened that scene and it showed the guy or the girl, it was a girl hanging over to sign the book. It was like a fisheye lens, and it just surrounded them and made everybody look weird.
And it's to show like how in their face,
but
he is, because he's such a famous writer and everyone's a big fan of him.
But they told the story of that with the way he shot it. Like you could see the people hovering over people.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Yep, definitely agree. And that was one of my notes too, the signing table. Cross that out.
Yeah.
That's just for fun, because they talked about it in the commentary. I wrote them down. These are the names of the books. So the book that he's currently signing is Blood Dance. That's his latest title. And then I didn't see it, but they talked about it on the commentary. The other book that is hard to find, but it's called Sword of Bad, are the two Roger Cobb titles that appear in the film.
And George Wendt's his biggest fan.
Sword. That's probably what George Wendt was reading, was Sword of Bad.
Well,
get it? Sword of Bad?
Sword of
bad. I didn't get it, honestly.
No, I didn't either.
Before we get too much further, I do want to shout out the writers of this film. The story by credit is Fred Decker. Fred Decker, I think most people would recognize Fred Decker from this film, a film I love, The Monster Squad.
My God. Nicole used to love that movie.
Yeah, directed by Fred Decker.
That's the one that's all on the Warner Ranch, right?
Yeah, I'll take a little sidetrack here.
Sure.
When Adam had never been to the Warner Ranch, and I had a connection to get on, and I took him for the first time to go to the Warner Ranch. He wanted to see Christmas Vacation House. He wanted to see the Gremlin swimming pool, and he wanted to see the Monster Squad locations. He was such a big fan, but he geeked out over that so hard. And we went like 4 years ago before they tore it down, but Monster Squad was on the top of his list to see the locations.
It's such a fun movie. Wolfman's Got Nards. Lives in my head.
That's another kids comedy horror movie.
Yes. Yeah. Fred Decker directed Monster Squad. He wrote RoboCop 3, and then he wrote the 2018 Predator film. So, and other stuff too. Those are just some of the ones I picked out. But he actually didn't have time to write the screenplay because he was apparently working on Godzilla 1985, a film we'll eventually cover on this show. And so he had originally conceived the idea after seeing the Twilight Zone movie, thinking of like horror segment stories, right? A whole movie sort of just of different sort of short films or short stories. And so he sort of
anthology.
An anthology, yes, exactly. He sort of conceived of the idea of a haunted house type story. And his was much darker, much more serious. But like I said, he didn't have the time to actually write it. So he gave it to his friend Ethan Wiley, who fleshed it out and made it a full script, added all of the comedy elements to it. Ethan Wiley would go on to write and direct House 2, a second story. But he actually started in the effects world before he was a writer and a director. He was on Return of the Jedi. He was part of he was a creature technician. But then we just mentioned it, Gremlins, he was part of the creature crew on Gremlins, right? So obviously the team of people that need to work on all of the puppets and animatronics and everything that are part of Return of the Jedi and Gremlins. So between Fred Decker and Ethan Wiley, they are the ones who sort of came up with this idea of house.
Okay. Brandon, you know more about this movie than I do, and I saw it in the theater. That's unbelievable. You're like AI for movie trivia in a human body.
I do a lot of research.
Fully researched.
I do a lot of research.
I got notes over here, and I'm like, my notes mean nothing. Like, Brandon's got it.
Hey, but I didn't get to see it in the theater, so that's why we need that experience too, right? We need that point of view.
Well, that when I went and saw it at the theater, it was during that magical age between like 7 and 14, where if a movie gets you in that age, it stays with you.
And truthfully, I think that's kind of what this movie was made for. Was made for it definitely sort of skews younger, even though like I guess there's not really any like adult themes, right? Like he's vaguely interested in the neighbor, cursing. You know, it's the neighbor is like she's an attractive 80s woman, and so the men in the film are like, oh yeah, look at her, right? Like, but that was very much a uber common thing for 80s films. But yeah, there's no sex in it, there's no real language.
No, there was never any really dark vibes about it. It was all just, that's why I told my wife, I'm like, Home Alone meets 80s B movie horror movie. I mean, it's like even some of the gags, like when the tools and the head flippers came out.
Home Alone is a weird. That's so funny to me.
But there's a lot of parallels to something that campy, but being a horror movie, because you're right. It was a perfect for an 8-year-old kid. That was perfect for me to watch because it didn't scare me. A lot of the 80s horror movies were dark and they would scare you, but this one was like a family-friendly horror movie. It was just,
and like we keep saying, it's goofy, it's silly, and even though like the Sandy monster, like it is a freaky looking creature, it's presented in like a funny way, and she's like very big and rubbery. I mean, all of these creatures are super rubbery. Those weird little creepy kids that pull what's his name? Roger. Pull Roger up the chimney. Creepy, but very rubbery. The closet monster that comes out, which it's hard to catch, but it's actually supposed to be like a collection of the faces of his battalion from Vietnam, and the fingers are actually bullets. So it's supposed to be this like weird amalgamation creature of his PTSD of Vietnam. That was kind of what its intention was.
Deep.
Yeah, it's but all of it is kind of goofy, but scary, right? Like it's a really fine line.
Well, did you notice the first time he saw that monster, Brandon? And Jay, maybe you noticed, and I almost think they left it in intentionally, almost to kind of like take away the scariness of maybe seeing a monster. Was the first time that Roger opened the door, the closet door, you saw the rest of the wall move with it. Like it was almost.
Oh, like when he first goes to reach him, I noticed that too. I thought it was bad set building. The flat moves, exactly.
The flat shakes.
Yeah, the flat shakes.
Yes, I noticed that on my beautiful 1080p HD Blu-ray. Thanks to Arrow Video. I noticed it, and I was like, "Did that wall just move?" Well, he opens the door, so I rewound it to be like, "Oh yeah!" Like obviously they're shuffling back there to get the monster to pop out of the door, but yeah, the whole wall moves before Roger even opens the door. It's so funny.
So funny.
Yeah, it's like that even almost worked in the movie. Like as goofy as that little, because they, there's no way
like,
all three of us caught that and they didn't catch that in the screening, and they were like, leave it in. You know?
It's like Ed Wood, right? Those old Ed Wood films, the sets are moving and around all the time, right? Just because they're flats with doors and They flex.
Yeah.
That is a perfect segue, because I do want to shout out the production designer, Greg Fonseca, because he built an entire 2-story set. They built this whole inside of the house. They built on a sound stage, so that they didn't have to worry about like making it seem real. You know what I mean? Like a lived in real space. They wanted the upstairs to be the upstairs. They didn't want to have to like
Cheat
it
it.
just made it easier. And ultimately, with a $3 million budget, it probably makes it cheaper, because you're not having to worry about like making things match between, you have a set over here, you have a set over here. It's just you built it all together.
Yeah,
I'll
they
go one
did.
further. As somebody from the business, it saves money if you're using less floor space. So, I mean, you made it get
go-
one stage out of it
that's
instead of two, because you're
Yeah.
building on top instead of needing 2 stages.
Yeah.
Jay,
Or
you
just
may
the
know-
continuity of it all. Like you said, being able to keep the camera moving up and down the stairs.
Jay, you may know this because whenever I was looking, it said they built the set at Renmar Studios. Is that still
Ah.
active?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
now
have it.
Red Camera Studios, but it's
Yeah.
also
Oh.
Maroon Cartoons from Roger Rabbit.
And I have
That's
it
over
written
near
down as
Paramount.
Correct. It's on the other side of the street, a little further down on
Yeah,
by Paramount.
okay.
Yes.
yeah, I
didn't
have
know-
it written
I didn't
down
know that was Renmar.
as Desilu Studios, the
Yep.
former Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz film studio.
After Paramount, they moved over to that and made that Desilu. Exactly right.
Okay.
Paramount used to be Desilu, if you didn't know that too.
I
It
didn't
was
know that.
RKO, then it was Desilu, and then it was That's why Paramount is the home of Star Trek and all that. It was
Oh.
Lucille Ball
You
and
know what?
Desi Arnaz who produced that.
And it's
Yeah,
so
that-
weird, because I was trying to look up that information, because I knew the RKO to Desilu, but it wasn't making it super clear. But I guess it's because Desilu had 3 locations, is what I was reading.
Yeah, I mean they grew. Talk about exponential growth. It went from an idea to holy cow, this is what we're doing now, and they did. They just kept outgrowing spaces.
Okay.
And they also, I think, got into disagreements along the way as
Yeah.
personalities
Lucille-
and whatever.
Lucille Ball was the one who greenlit Star Trek. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Exactly
Yes.
right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll get Brandon. I'll try to throw a little trivia at you, and I can't be 100% because I only gave it a little bit of time. But being a location guy, I was able to put together. Do you or Jay know any of the other movies that would use the house from House?
No. Please
No.
share with us.
Jay.
Yeah, please.
All right.
I know
Several-
Monrovia. There's a lot of shooting that goes on out there because it's still just
one-
inside the TMZ.
The ones I found that used that house was Cinderella's Story, Not Another Teen Movie, Liar Liar, and Drive Me Crazy.
Really?
Yeah, the
Liar,
house-
Liar, I know. And
Yes.
what
It
was the one you
wasn't
said
the main
before
house
that?
from Liar Liar. It was like a B location, but in my homework and on my notes, I put
That's
together those
awesome.
movies.
Not Another Teen Movie. I do remember that one.
Yeah,
They used a few houses in that out there as well, Pasadena area too. But one of them just burnt down in the fire. The big famous one from all those the one from She's All That they also use in Not Another Teen Movie. That one's gone, burned down. It was used in everything. American Pie. It was the party house from American Pie. It was in everything, burned down.
that was tragic when I found out that house and there were so many locations lost in that fire in Altadena.
Yeah.
In that whole area.
It's amazing that the ones that remain. Like I can't believe 90210 Row is still there. I can't believe the Step Brothers house is still there. It's amazing.
Well, Frank the Tank from Old School, his house is burnt down, which is just right up the street. And the
Oh,
house
it did?
the-
Where he was tuning the car in the front? Yeah.
Yeah, the house
Yeah.
is gone, and the house from Mad Men, the main house from Mad Men, got burned down.
No, not Don Draper's house. That's still there. Must
I'm
be a
pretty
different house.
sure it may. It's
Don
one of
Draper's
the
house is like almost kitty corner across from the in Pasadena from the Father of the Bride house.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that one, but I know one of the houses used in Mad Men was gone. But I thought it was Don Draper's house. Could
Oh,
be
maybe it
wrong.
is. Yeah, I could be wrong too.
but
Who knows? Who knows? Sorry, Brandon.
No. It's. I mean,
LA
that,
location sidetrack.
we have nerd locations on the show. Yeah, we're gonna
Yes.
talk locations. All right.
yeah,
But
Renmark for me will always be maroon cartoons though, because I love Roger Rabbit so much.
So Greg Fonseca, the production designer, he picked that house, but they added all of the spires on the roof, as well as that white iron fence and those brick
That you could tell
columns.
the brick was fake.
But
Yeah.
the other thing that's fake, do you know what else is fake?
Was the pool fake?
The pool was a different location. The pool was not actually in the backyard, so that's why they never show anybody walking to the pool. They basically
not
go to the
connected,
fence and they go, "Hey, look at that pool over there," and then it's a reverse shot of a different location of the pool.
That's literally what I noticed. They used the exact same fake brick and wrought iron fence by the pool. Okay, cool.
But in front
so no,
of the
go
house,
ahead. Go ahead. The answer.
in front of the house, the walkway, the paved walkway, is completely fake, and it's made out of plywood. Which leads me to realize that's why Roger Cobb, when he jumps out and does that knee slide, why he can do that knee slide. Because if he was jumping and landing on his knees on concrete, not only would it like kill his knees, but he wouldn't slide very far. But it's painted plywood is what they use for that walkway.
He looked like risky business, just like just sliding down the thing. But I've also, when I was reading Brandon, apparently somebody saw the movie and decided to install a real, because they thought it looked so good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The house definitely has it. They must have liked it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So after production, they liked the way it looked, so they added a real paved walkway. So if you go visit the house, it'll have that paved walkway, but it won't have the white fences.
Nope. There is a fence around it, it looks like, but
I think
it must
it's
not be the
bushes.
same. Oh,
Unless
could be
you can
hedges,
see,
yeah.
because the photos that I saw, it looked, and maybe it was just so overgrown. But yeah, production added those
Hedges.
brick columns and the white iron fences.
So funny.
The let me see. I had a note about that. I'm looking at my notes. Here's a note that I had for me, and you guys can agree or not agree. But to be a horror movie, I thought that the scariest part is when it showed Anne Elizabeth hanging herself.
Oh yeah,
Like that was the biggest scare for me. Like it was like a jump scare. It was the closest thing to a jump scare there was.
Yeah, the camera sort of pans to the
Panned
side,
out.
and then she comes in the side of the frame. Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, the scariest part of the movie.
Which goes back to that DP being such a great DP who could figure out how to make that scary. You know, it was like whoa, and then the movie from there just became, like a pretty campy, fun horror
It's
movie.
definitely a different tone.
Oregonian says he's all about the location, so we're good there.
I just want to finish this last little bit about the production designer, because he worked on some pretty cool movies after House. Well, actually, one of them is before House. He did Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which we've talked about on this show. He did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in 1989, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I mean, talk about production design, because not only do you have to build like the shrink ray, but now you have to design and build all of the giant sets for when the kids are shrunk, the grass, the Cheerio, all of those. Yeah, all of that amazing stuff. He also was the production designer on both Wayne's World movies.
There you go.
Which is cool for me because
you're creating a set right now.
We own pieces from the original Wayne's World, primarily the clear acrylic guitar case that has the white Stratocaster locked up inside of it from the music store, plus pieces from the music store. But Greg's production design would have put the colored plexiglass pieces on the ceiling of the music store, and we own those.
They added all that. Production added all that.
Yes,
oh,
so
how cool,
production
man!
added the cloud pieces around the whole border of the store.
The border, yep.
Yeah, they added the colored plexiglass pieces hanging from the ceiling, and then obviously the guitar case
and the signage and other stuff you have. So cool, man. That's amazing.
Parts of that.
I always thought that was just the store stuff that you bought, and it was so cool to recreate the store. I didn't realize that production brought it in.
Yeah,
Rad.
the only thing that's original to the store that we own is the slat wall. So we
Right, got
built. You can check it out on the BC DeLorean Instagram, but I've
Do. It's
recreated
impressive.
Castle's music with real original slat wall from Castle's Music, the music store from Wayne's World, and then all of these set deck and props that we acquired from the owner of Castle's Music when the store shut down.
Still
one of
reprogramming myself to say Castles. I still say Cassell, and you've corrected me, and my brain does it wrong.
one of my
Because it's spelled
favorite
Cassell,
things,
but I know it's Castle. I know it's
yes,
Castle.
but one of my favorite things that we got, and I talk about it in the video, is everybody knows the famous "No Stairway" sign. When Wayne starts playing the "No Stairway" riff, which actually, this is a tangent for that. Depending on which version of the movie you're watching, doesn't actually contain the beginning chords of No Stairway to Heaven. It originally did, the original theatrical release of Wayne's World, he starts playing dun dun dun, right? Like the opening chords of No Stairway. And then on subsequent home video releases, they didn't have the licensing or didn't want to pay Led Zeppelin to have that music in the movie. So he plays some like random, like weird notes, but they've now added
it's not even a fake version of it that would trick you into.
It sounds
weird.
It's so different.
Okay.
But now the new releases, like the 4K release that just came out, has the No Stairway notes put back into the film.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
So
No, it's, by the
sign-
way, it's just Stairway. It's just Stairway to Heaven. The sign says no Stairway to Heaven.
Oh,
as in
yes.
don't play Stairway to Heaven.
What am I saying? I'm saying No Stairway.
Yeah, but
Yes,
just for all the listeners.
Yeah. Stairway to Heaven. But so we all know how the sign looks in the movie. It's white, big, bold letters. Well, production actually made two versions of the sign. There's the sign that we see in the movie, and then they made a B version, which has the circle with the line through it, a la the Ghostbusters logo.
The no ghosts, yeah.
The No Ghost logo, but it says Stairway to Heaven with the circle and cross through it. And I imagine all they did was kind of hold both of them up and just decided which one read better.
100%.
The rule, and the one that says No Stairway to Heaven makes the joke work. So they chose that one. That's the one that appears in the movie. Well, they left behind the alternate version. And so Ed, the owner of Castles, held on to it. And when we made the deal to get all of the props, he's like, exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's my sign.
This is from the BC Instagram. Check it out.
Yeah.
So
All
that's
sorts of cool
it's
stuff
just
here.
a little bit different than the one that appears in the movie. But the coolest thing about it is that it's made with the same materials. So the blue poster board here, I'll make you big, Jay, while you're holding that up.
Well, because this is
appreciate it.
everything you just talked about with the plexiglass and everything is here.
Yeah, all of that.
Everything
is,
but the car.
Greg Fonseca's work.
Well
But
done.
the other thing I realized, because I want to make an accurate No Stairway to Heaven sign, and I'll hang that one up there too. But I realized that the lettering on the Stairway to Heaven is exactly the same between the two of them, and it's all hand cut. When I say hand cut, it could be still cut by some sort of machine, but it's 1992. And so you can see that it's hand cut lettering on top of a blue poster board.
So
So I'm-
Brandon, in the final cut of the movie, when they used the other one, what it just said No Stairway.
Well, the sign still says No Stairway, but
But the one sign is just written No Stairway to Heaven, and instead of saying no, this one's got the red thing, right?
No, I was just curious if it just said No Stairway, because maybe there was a fee to use the name of the song. Maybe the name of the song is trademarked, which is
no, it says
It
no
says No
Stairway to Heaven. Yeah. It says
okay.
that-
So
yeah.
so that was just it. Well, let me ask you this. This is a surprise to me. How did you come home without the neon sign out front? Because I know you had to think that.
So the neon sign, the one that that is in
Yeah.
the movie, you mean?
Yeah, outside, because it's still there, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, they took that with them.
So production made a neon sign that says Castle's Music because the store is called Castle's Music in the movie. They made this big neon sign, put it on the building, and then when production wrapped, they took that neon sign away. So it's
Oh,
somewhere in
Wow.
the Paramount archives. I'm sure that Castle's Music sign is there. What we
Huh.
did get, and we haven't decided how we're going to display it, but Ed gave us all of the letters from the outside of the store. So we
oh,
have
really?
big, they're like a foot tall letters that say Castle's Music. So
So
we'll have
you
to
have the
figure
real
out.
sign, not the
We have
production sign, but you have the real
we
sign
have the
from the
real
building.
store sign, yes.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. That is,
Um, but
Collecting
yeah,
history wherever they go.
yeah.
I had to shout out not only because I do like the production design of the full 2-story set that they built for this movie, but I did have to shout him out just for the connection that I own some of the stuff from Wayne's World that he worked on.
Well,
I feel like the
speaking of
Nightmare on Elm
this,
Street set was 2 stories too. I wonder if maybe that's his thing.
well, they had the set for the scenes in Vietnam were obviously a sound studio because
Yeah,
the light
obviously, yeah.
you could see the lighting off because some of the shrubbery was real and some of it was fake, and you
Yeah.
could see the light bounce off the plastic leaves on some of the trees.
Yeah.
Which you had, and then there was a shot where he was backlit, so that had to be in a studio. But
Oh, it is
I
100%. Yeah, they built a little dirt mound in the middle of the studio, and they filled it with trees, and then they would just move the trees around. They're shooting all of those Vietnam scenes in like the same whatever it would be, like 20 by 20 space, just moving the trees around and shooting through trees and shooting from different angles. It's all the same space.
Was that all at Renmar too, or would that have been somewhere else?
Yeah, it just would have been one of the other sound stages. They didn't specify specifically, but I assume it was all at that same studio.
yeah, if you look, there was so there was such a low amount of locations to make house. You had the house, then him in the bookstore and him talking to his agent, and the Vietnam scene, and that was about it. But the Vietnam scene is not even a location. There was
Yeah.
like three main locations. It was crazy.
Well, and even for exterior shots, we have the exterior of the house, which is, a couple scenes. There's, as you mentioned, that one walk and talk scene out on the streets of LA with his agent, and they're shooting that from like
Oh,
across the
they
street
they
in
stole that
public.
shot.
Yes,
Yes, that's
100%.
guerrilla style
Yeah.
filmmaking.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. All of those people in cars and people walking the streets did not know that they were in the classic film House.
I guarantee that camera was probably in a storefront across on the corner too. I bet it
Oh,
wasn't even outside.
that's an interesting. I've never thought about that. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, having, you know, borrowed a few shots around Los Angeles before and back then, it was really like, it's not just an iPhone. Like there's gear, there's equipment.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. Let's talk a little bit about we've sort of name dropped them already, but William Catt plays Roger Cobb. I really only know him, not that I've actually watched the show, but I have seen the DVD of the Greatest American Hero complete series at like
that's what he's from.
yes.
Yeah.
I've seen that DVD complete series at like every single thrift store I've ever been to look at to buy movies. It always has the Greatest American Hero complete collection DVDs.
I can't believe I skipped that the main guy was also on a TV show at the same time. That's crazy.
And you know what? I really think in a lot of those B movies in the '80s, the acting was just horrible, and they just fit the archetype. They fit the archetype of what the character was, but the acting was horrible. In House, I think the acting actually was pretty great. I mean, I thought Roger was great. George Wendt obviously is great. Richard Mall was great as his bit. The wife, even the girl coming out of the swimming pool, like you believed everybody in those roles. Where if you go watch, I don't know, another good example of something because House is so different. But most '80s B movies, it was like we just need a hot girl, but this hot girl was good. We just need somebody to play a sitcom star. She was great.
Yeah.
I didn't see any really weak performances in the movie.
I agree with you. I think their performances are good. I think that there is some script issues. Ultimately, I think that's what it is. But I do think William Catt does a good job with what he has. Let's put it that way.
What he was given to work with.
Exactly, with what he was given to work with. He
Ooh.
doesn't wink. He plays it all straight and serious, and he really is terrorized by this house and looking for his son. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, he was great. But you know what? I didn't put together the American Hero. I didn't put that together either.
Yeah, he's the greatest
But-
American hero.
wow.
That's the only thing I really know him from. I just have seen that DVD so many times that I just recognize his face and his hair.
I mean, I grew up with that show, but I did not remember that he was. You know, he had the big
Yeah.
curly blonde hair and that, and the red suit. So running from the
Yeah,
train.
I'm the same way. And going back to the beginning of the conversation, Jay, you said you watched it on Tubi. It's actually it's available on YouTube free with no commercials. So that's where I watched it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what?
That's
That
how-
doesn't. I searched it on Apple TV, and it doesn't. It doesn't show. I got to remember.
That's
to
how
check
I
YouTube.
watched.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
I watched House 4 on YouTube. Somebody uploaded
Yeah.
House 4. That's how I watched that
Well,
one.
how YouTube is actually investing money in having. They're not the best movies, but you can find pretty decent movies. Actually, they got like Blues Brothers, and it's their print that they get from the studio. And House was one of those movies. Like if you go to YouTube and type in House horror movie, an official YouTube link will come up.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there wants to see this movie, you could get it on YouTube for free.
Find it on there. I just want to talk about this sweater. So Roger Cobb takes his trash out one morning and wears the deepest V sweater I think I've ever seen on celluloid. I could not believe this sweater. Like, look how deep down it goes in between his pecs. It's insane.
So I think we've all seen this sweater. It's just usually on a woman. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I guess so. Yeah.
You know, with shoulder pads, but it's still.
Yeah.
I feel like this is period for the '80s, but I've never seen it
Yeah.
on a man.
That's a very Miami Vice looking sweater. Very Miami Vice.
This is my note. I wrote, the deep V sweater and running outfit are so 80s because it's at this scene is when we meet Tanya. Tanya comes running and she's in that like full, I think it's
Yeah,
blue
the
or something.
leotardy deal.
Yeah, exactly. The full jumpsuit leotard spandex number. And I was just like, oh my God, this is an 80s movie. Look at this sweater.
Yeah.
Look at this suit.
And the pleated pants
perfect.
there. It's all happening. It's all happening.
It's definitely a look.
You know, it's not just the V, Brandon. It's the width of that, whatever I don't know what you call that piece of fabric is, but
Like the collar piece, you mean?
Yeah, the width of it is like 2-3 inches, 4 inches on
It's-
each side. It's crazy.
It was so funny. I was like, I have to get a screenshot of it because we have to talk about this deep V sweater.
Crazy.
Well, the fact that it's almost skin tone, it makes it even kind of like
Yeah.
more,
Yes, it's very neutral. It's very funny. We talked about George Wendt. George Wendt is awesome. Obviously everybody knows George Wendt from Cheers. 269 episodes of Cheers he's in.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I think, he's in every
And it's-
episode. I think isn't
and I'm-
there's some trope about like he's the one guy who's in every single episode. Because
And I'm
Sam isn't
pretty-
in every episode, Diane isn't in every, like everybody, but George I think is in every
He's
episode.
always there.
Yeah.
I think-
And
I think
by the way,
Cheers
shout out.
is-
He was always really nice to us. I think I told you this many times whenever he comes up, but we knew him real life, and he was so supportive during Nicole's troubles and everything. And then he passed away this year. I'm friends with his stepson, and I just love George Wendt so much. He was awesome.
Yeah, we
And I'm
talked a lot about him because he this year he hosted that very famous episode of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's why we were talking about it.
Directed by Francis Ford Coppola during the Weird Year. Go back and check out
Weird
our
Year.
Weird Year episode. We
That's
talk
why we
talk
talked
about
about
George
him.
Wendt because he hosted a very famous episode in SNL's history. What were we going to say, Ryan?
No, I was just saying, I think Cheers, I don't know how big it is, but I'm pretty sure it's still in syndication on some level
Oh
Like
yeah.
they still show it, you
Me
know.
TV or whatever the retro
Yeah.
channel is.
Yeah.
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 I want to shout out George Wendt in a film because
Fletch?
well, yes, he was in Fletch. You are correct.
Yeah.
Fat Sam. Um, this is a man. This film is directed by a man who we love. I'm sure you love him too, Rayan. We talk about him a lot on this show. This is his directorial debut, starring George Wendt. It's John Candy's Hostage for a Day.
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh
that.
my
This is
goodness!
a-
I have never seen this.
Yeah, so this
I've never
is
even heard of this.
This is a Canadian made-for-TV film. This is the, as you can see, it's the special director's cut. I don't know.
Perfect.
Focus.
There it
I
is.
haven't-
Oh,
haven't
Dave
seen that
Thomas
so
too.
long.
Nice.
When did that come out, Brandon?
So this, unfortunately, came out 1994, 1 month after John Candy had passed away.
Oh wow.
That was its premiere date. Did I write it down? Yeah, its premiere date was 1 month after we lost John Candy. But this was he wanted to direct films. He wanted to explore other aspects of his film career, and he got the opportunity, and he made this film. Now, is it the best film? No, it's not the greatest, but it's very charming. George Wendt is great in it, and John Candy is in the film because I'm sure that was part of the reason he was able to direct it, is if he made an appearance. Special appearance by John Candy in his directorial debut, it says on it. But
wow.
this is a tape that this is a prized possession. I've never ever come across another one. I don't know how, like the fact that Jay, you hadn't even heard about this film. But,
I haven't.
yeah, it's a fun. George Wendt essentially pretends to be kidnapped. That's kind of what the conceit of the film is, and then it goes from there. But yeah, gotta shout out our boy John Candy, because we love him on a blockbuster year.
When
Oregonian
we were,
Dave said, "Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just a little side bit was that when we were out there for Adam's celebration, I went to see his grave for the first time. Jay, you may know where this is at, Holy Cross Cemetery.
Okay.
But
John Candy's
Candy's like his mausoleum. He's in one of the mausoleum, but it's incredibly beautiful. Like it's pretty unreal. I'll send you guys a picture of it. But John Candy, he still holds up in everything he's done.
Oh God, one of my absolute
one of the
favorites
greatest
of all time. Have you seen the documentary, Rayan?
I have not yet. It's on my list. It's actually in my queue.
It's so good.
Bump it up.
Yeah.
Bump it up.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
He-
If you ever want a
he's
good cry,
Yeah.
He was from Toronto, right?
Yes, he's Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah,
From Toronto.
No,
Yeah, on SCTV, cut his teeth, doing Canadian comedy television. Yeah.
no, that he's one
we are
of
the Schwengis.
You know what? Okay. I'm just realizing now, I don't think it's on our list, but I believe the SCTV Schmengi's movie is 1985. I'm going to double check.
All right, while you do that, Oregonian Dave says, in 1982, I dressed up as the greatest American hero and I jumped off the roof of my house. Landed safely in the backyard with a sweating face. Tara Anderson says, guys, I watch Cheers every night before bed. Good to know George Wendt was such a good human off screen. Agreed.
Where is it? I gotta. I'm almost positive. I'll look it up later, but we might have to rectify that. We might have to do the Schmengi Brothers movie.
I wouldn't know how
That'd
to
be awesome.
spell it, or I would look it up. Maybe I'll do SCTV movie.
Yeah, it's SCTV Schmengi Brothers.
Schmengi.
Let's see here. Yep, The Last Polka. It's called 1985
Oh,
TV
the last
movie.
polka. There you go.
All right, I'm adding it to the list. We're gonna do The Last Polka because
And it isn't that his Home Alone character is sort of a little bit based on the this guy, right?
Gus.
With the polka.
Oh,
So
what
bringing
Oh,
back
yeah.
to Rayan's tie-in to the Home Alone,
Yeah.
as if Harry and Marv were actually just PTSD brain
Yeah.
trauma.
You know, so
Yeah,
here's
exactly. Exactly.
They're not real.
The house is haunted and Kevin is fighting
Yeah.
PTSD and trauma. That just happens to be two buffoons.
you know
That's
that
how
John Candy was on set for Home Alone for one day as a favor, and he was
I think it
also
was-
in
I think it was
Vacation
like
too.
something like 14 hours or something. They
Yeah.
shot all their in one day.
Yeah, they definitely
And
did
then
it a long
16
day.
or something. It was something crazy long day.
Yes. Yep.
And in the movie National Lampoon's Vacation, they were doing the dailies, and they said we really need to bump up the comedy
Yeah.
in this ending to kind of level off, because the ending of Vacation is pretty dark when you think about Chevy
Well,
Chase
they go to the house of Mr. Wally, right? That was
Yeah.
the original ending.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
he
And
holds him at gunpoint at his house.
They
That's
ended up
what-
reusing it in Christmas Vacation
Christmas
with
Vacation.
Yes.
exactly.
And so they were trying to figure out who to get, and John Hughes, I think, recommended John Candy, and so they got him for one day for $1 million, and it totally made the movie work.
Oh
You
my
know,
God,
so
yeah. It's
Two of his
Sorry,
biggest
folks. Who's
performances,
up front should have told you.
park's closed. Yeah.
but two of his most legendary roles, he was brought in kind of as a bumper
As a-
for comedy,
yep.
and spent one day on sets.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Totally
Yeah, and
worked.
then he had a long time friendship, a lifelong friendship with John Hughes. They were really close.
Yeah.
Their families were really close. So we love John Candy on A Blockbuster Year. It's one of our absolute favorites.
Yep.
Where were we on House? it's
Yeah,
always
we
how
got-
it goes.
Do we need to
Music. What was that? Go ahead.
just in case, Brandon, because I have some bad weather. I don't know if I'm the one house on my block that'll lose power, but I should be good. I'm just hearing some thunder, but I know we got to do a rating. Should we get that in?
He's hilarious. He wants to do the stars in case we drop him.
Yeah,
well, I mean, we can. I mean,
or I could do mine, and then you guys could do yours. If you lose me, you may not lose me.
If we lose you, text us.
yeah.
Perfect. I'll do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Richard Mall, as was mentioned before, he plays Big Ben, his Vietnam War buddy. Somebody had mentioned Night Court. He was on 193 episodes of Night Court. He is a very
bull.
tall man.
Yeah. 6'6"?
Six, something like that. Yeah, 6'6". I actually never made this connection, but he is in Jingle All the Way, along with
Really?
past and future guest Phil Morris, who is also in Jingle All the Way.
I always forget that.
He plays Dementor, in the TV show that little Jake Lloyd is watching at the beginning of the movie. So, in the world of Jingle All the Way, Turbo Man, always got my Turbo Man within arm's reach.
Yeah.
What the hell? Robbie Retro, everybody.
Turbo Man is a comic book character and a kids TV show. So Richard Mall plays the bad guy Dementor in the TV show that the main kid is watching at the very beginning of the movie. I've never made that connection until I was going through his credit list.
Well, the Richard Mall, he crushed it. But here's another tidbit you probably know, Brandon. The ghost or the zombie Richard Mall in House was a different guy. So
Yes.
they had to go out and find another guy. So I don't know if he didn't want to be in makeup or if there was some kind of stuntman thing.
It's a stunt man essentially, but they needed a tall, skinny person because of all of the makeup would have made Richard Mall, who is tall and big, would have made him look even bigger, right? So a big thing in
That makes
full
sense.
body prosthetics in the movie is they always find a really skinny person, a tall, skinny person, so that when they put the full bodysuit and all the prosthetic pieces, it kind of makes them look average sized. And the man, I should have written down his name. I think it was Clint something, but he apparently was a really proficient tennis player. but he just happened to be of the right height and skinny enough to wear all of the prosthetic makeup.
I'll tell you something that I noticed, and I think I'm just a nerd idiot, but can one of you guys pull up a photo, because you have to see this visual, pull up a photo and put it on screen of him as Richard Mall, the zombie version, in the suit, and you can see his face. And I'm going to ask you guys something. This is what I thought.
It might take me a few minutes to get that. I didn't pull a photo of him.
I'm working on it. Do we need just the face?
Yeah, just the face of him as when he came back. Does that not, Brandon? Can you see it?
Yeah,
Does that not look like Jason Voorhees without the mask?
totally.
Later, Jason Voorhees,
Yeah.
specifically the one
Zombie.
with this started in the movie we just referenced with the actress from House 2.
Yeah.
This look
Zombie.
after
Yeah.
the fresh blood, the new blood, whatever that
Yeah,
was.
New Blood. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's-
this
you're
is post
totally
part
right.
6.
You're
This
totally
is after
right.
we've been in the lake because they
Yeah.
put him in the lake before this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
Feels
see it?
very-
Can
Okay,
you see
I
it?
see it. I see it.
It's got. When I saw it, I'm like, it looks like Friday 13th or Zombie Jason is what they call him.
Yeah, I see it.
yeah, I can see that. Richard Mall is also in one of the most important movies from my childhood. There was a selection of films from my local video store that I would rent on repeat. There was a Dr.
Zombie Jason
Seuss.
for comparison.
Oh yeah, that's very similar.
Very similar.
Yes.
There was this Dr. Seuss live action film starring like Matt Frewer as like
What?
Max Headroom as the Cat in the Hat with bunch of other people. I rented that all the time. But one of the other movies I always rented and watched was Moonbeam Entertainment's Beanstalk. This is a
the hell?
90s kid movie. So Moonbeam Entertainment is the family film division of Full Moon Pictures. Full Moon Pictures is Charles Band, who does all the Puppet Master movies, produced Reanimator. So very horror driven, but they have a family films division, and they made Prehysteria, the Pet Shop films. But these were straight to home video movies that appeared in all of video rental stores, and obviously mine was one of the ones that had all these Moonbeam Entertainment. And this is a modern retelling of Jack and the Beanstalk. And the best part about this movie is the character Jack goes up the beanstalk and he finds the giants, and they're essentially living in the 90s. Like, it's not a fairy tale, castles and fee fi fo fum. They have
It's a different
television.
time.
Yes, they're wearing collared
What?
shirts, kitchen, like they have full kitchens. And then Richard Mall plays the bad guy. I think he works for the bank, but he's essentially like foreclosing on Jack's house. And that's where I know this guy from, because I have watched this movie so many times as a kid that his face is just burned in my brain. So when he shows up in House, I'm like, oh my God, that's Lurch from Beanstalk.
Wow. What year did that come out, Brandon?
94, I think. Yeah, 1994.
Okay. It's worth checking out for the hell of it.
Yeah, it's probably like
Can't
it's
recommend.
so cheesy. It's a kids movie.
Conceptually, what you just described sounds very interesting.
but I like it a lot. But that's because I saw it when I was a young child, and
Yeah.
it's always been a part of my life.
Brian Stidman here says, great show tonight, gentlemen, but he wanted to let us know that the Schmenges, The Last Polka, is available on YouTube in its entirety.
Wonderful.
There you go.
We have that
Hey,
to do in the future.
Brandon, I'm gonna grab my phone charger real quick. You guys keep talking.
No problem. The other film that Richard Mall appears in that's very important to me, actually, it's on my favorite movie shelf. He has a small role in I think a film that has the greatest production design in film history, and I'll die on that hill.
Whoa.
1994.
Oh, you say that a lot.
Yeah, Brian Levant's the live-action Flintstones movie. He just plays one of the guys that works at the quarry with Fred. but again, it's just another film that like I see his face because I watched this movie so many times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it just got announced it's getting a 4K release. So I'm so excited to eventually get the live action Flintstones movie in 4K. It's gonna be great.
That's one fundamentally I always had an issue with because I couldn't understand the complexity of it all. The Honeymooners were a live action show, and then they made a cartoon version of that, and now we're making a live action version of that.
But
You know what I mean?
the
It was
the casting is perfect. John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Elizabeth Perkins, Rosie O'Donnell, production design. Oh my God. It's one of the funniest, best movies ever made.
All right.
Do
I'll
you
check
know
it
where
out.
speaking of locations, Brandon, do you know where that was actually filmed, where Bedrock was?
Like where they built all the
This-
houses in the city?
Yeah,
No, I don't know exactly where that is.
Vasquez Rocks.
That's what I would have guessed. Out by
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
the Cadillac, what are they fucking from Cars, and
Yep.
Star Trek and all that shit.
Yes.
That's where the fight with the Gorn was in Star Trek.
Oh yes. Yeah.
It was
very
in Westworld.
famous.
It's been in everything, and it's
Yeah.
40 minutes from here. Sierra Highway.
Kay Lenz plays Sandy. She doesn't have a ton of notable credits, but she is in American Graffiti. She's more background in American Graffiti, but she has a very interesting look. She's got a very big mouth, and I was
A
like,
lot of teeth, very pretty smile.
yes, I recognize this woman, but turns out I don't. I don't really know her from anything, but she just must have like a face that matches somebody else's face that I'm thinking of.
Ooh, that could be.
But I think she's great in the movie. Tanya, the neighbors, played by Mary Stavin. She was Miss World 1977. Also Miss Sweden 1977. She's in A View to a Kill 1985, a movie we'll eventually cover, the James Bond Roger Moore film. She's also one of the Octopussy girls in 1983's Octopussy. And for me personally, she's in 2 episodes of Twin Peaks. So that was pretty cool.
Oh.
Wow.
And that's
I'm looking up
basically
Kay Lance because she was familiar to me too.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot that like I said, American Graffiti was the most notable, but she's a very, very minor role in that film.
It seems like if she looks familiar, she's done 1 episode of every TV series of the last.
That's what I noticed too.
Couple
like,
dozen years. Yeah,
she's working, but yeah.
Brandon, when was the official release in theaters for the house?
Well, it's funny you bring that up because when I was telling Jay about doing House, you told me, Jay, but my TV says it's 1986.
Apple TV says 86. Yeah,
I found out why it says it's 1986. So, House was released December 6th, 1985, limited release.
Gotcha.
It didn't go wide until February 28th, 1986. So it technically is a 1985 film, but its wide release wasn't until February of 1986 when it expanded to 1,400 theaters. So that's why your TV says 1986.
Yeah.
But
Got it.
all media says that it's 1985.
So it kind of falls into like the Friday the 13th 5 category. Like it's kind of, yes, it was this, but it was also that.
Yeah. And
Okay.
it's hard too when a film is released so late in the year that it kind of initially like that's what I'm saying. It technically is released in 1985, but most people didn't see it until early 1986.
Yeah, and it's probably on the 86 budget for the studios and everything for,
Exactly, yeah. Especially with it being its wide release.
Right.
This production actually started in April, so considering they were using film and how slow that process is, they really rushed this movie out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it took long to shoot.
But all the special effects, like all those creatures needed to be made, and that's a big part. That was all. I wrote down the company's name. Where is it here? Backwood Films. did all the special effects for House, but that would have taken time to build that closet monster and all those rubber masks and the big suit to design all of that stuff.
Kind of looked to me like somebody made it and somebody said yes. I don't know how much back and
Yeah,
forth there
well,
was.
Well, yeah,
if you go back, I said this earlier, but if you got next time you see Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Chiodo brothers had totally took the wife's look for their monster because they look identical. And even when I was doing homework on it, there's a lot of people who believe it was the Chiodo brothers, and that people
Mm.
they because it's so similar.
yeah.
But I mean,
Which
you're right.
also look very rubbery too. The Chiodo brothers,
Yeah,
Killer Clowns, like they look like rubber masks.
but that goes back to Jay's point. You know, just it they probably made it, and there wasn't a room for a second version. You know, they were like,
Yeah.
well,
Well, yeah. Time is
Budget
tight.
wise
Budget's
alone,
tight.
you know?
Yeah. It's like,
exactly.
yeah. First choice is the best choice. So yes, I think we've basically hit everything that's important in the plot of the movie.
Did you guys notice when he puts the microwave dinner in the banquet meal?
Yes,
Go ahead.
oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
he puts it in for 30 minutes.
I was like, no, that's too long.
The
Did
little
you notice
boy.
the? Oh, go ahead.
I was just say the little boy Roger is played by Steve Miner's son, Roger Miner.
Oh, of course.
I love that he has like Masters of the Universe toys. He's got Buzz Off
Oh,
and
funny.
Skeletor. Yeah.
So we're living in the same universe. Did you notice the realty? What's his name? Thank you for coming so quickly, Michael Einstein. What's his name?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Einstein.
Did you,
Yeah,
did,
Michael
did
Einstein.
you notice the name of his realty company?
Yeah,
It
Craven.
felt like a subtle. It felt like a subtle Wes Craven sort of deal.
I wanted to talk about this because this was one of my favorite shots in the film.
Okay.
So this is after he's realized. Oh, I guess I should. So in the film, the aunt has made this painting that has all these clues, and again, they're not really given to us. We see the painting, the clock is in there. We see the clock strike midnight. That's when the monsters come. The glowing door, the bathroom sink. But throughout the course of the beginning of the film, there is this rag covering a section of the painting, and it's not until later that the rag is removed, showing young Jimmy in the bathroom mirror.
Yep. And blood coming out the hot water.
Yes. And so I absolutely love this part of the movie because this shot doesn't change. There's no cuts. So he opens up the medicine cabinet and it's a full shelves with all the pills and bottles and toothpaste and everything. He closes it. And then a few seconds later, he throws something through the glass.
Stool
it's a
or
black
whatever, yeah.
hole that he can then go and actually interact and look through, and then arms come out and grab him. But I just love that this set, the
haunted house effect of keeping the shot, right? Yes,
exactly.
I agree. I
So
totally agree.
The back of the medicine cabinet is obviously removable. So they open it up, show the medicine cabinet, close it. Somebody behind the scenes removes the medicine cabinet backing from behind the glass. Then they can throw something through and just break the glass. It's so like easy to figure out how to do it, but I just like that they did it. There's no cuts. It's all one locked off shot, and it's just cool. It's just effective. You know, the fact that I can figure it out doesn't take away from any of it.
Do you Men in Black, Brandon? You meant Men in Black, obviously. When they're first going into Men in Black, like in the bower downstairs, they go into that big fan room and then they get in the elevator. Yeah. And then the other side of the elevator opens when they've reached their floor, and now we're out and through. We've never moved. There was no elevator. We have not changed a floor, but they somehow made the illusion work the same way that you're talking about. And I love that part of filmmaking. It's the magic.
Yeah. It's just a trick.
That goes back
Trick.
to
It's just a trick.
How talented that DP was. I mean, he set that shot up perfect. You know, there was no room there was no room for error in that shot, and he made it work perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, DP, production design, direction.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
everybody-
a lot of
everybody
teams that play
involved.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
special effects for that matter.
Somebody
broke that glass.
Is there anything else from the plot of the movie that we haven't hit?
Brandon,
Midnight
I'll tell
Snack.
you the scene, and I just to give George Wendt credit for being such a great comedic actor. When Roger went over and was like, "Yeah, I'm the new I live in here now," and he goes, "Oh yeah, the woman that was here before was a raging lunatic bitch.
yeah.
She was a maniac." He goes, "That was my aunt." He goes, "Sweetheart,
Sweetheart, though. Yeah.
yeah, such the salt of the earth, such a nice lady." That made
For
me
me-
laugh out loud.
There was some physical comedy going on too, how he sort of wipes his hands off as though he's cleaning his hands, but his hand was totally filthy when he goes and shakes.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing we should say is that throughout the film, there's all these Vietnam flashbacks. We sort of talked about the set a little bit. And then ultimately, the final battle is this monster that we were talking about that looks like Jason Voorhees, Big Ben as a zombie, essentially. And that was because in Vietnam, Ben he was wounded and asked Roger to kill him so that he couldn't be taken by the Viet Cong and become a prisoner of war or tortured or whatever he thought was going to happen. And Roger wasn't able to. Yes, a mercy kill, exactly. And Roger wasn't able to do that mercy kill on his friend.
And ran away.
And so Ben essentially, Big Ben is haunting Roger from that moment. He says like, "I'll get you, Roger," essentially, like, and so that's why he sort of comes back at the end, terrorizing Roger. Wants to, the ultimate revenge is he wants to kill his son. And then that's the moment we were talking about where Roger realizes that he's not scared of the house anymore or the haunting, and Big Ben tries to like cut his hand off, which is, I guess, some of there's blood there. There's blood when Sandy gets shot, and there's blood when the hand gets cut off. Very little, not gratuitous.
Very little when she gets shot as well.
Yes.
It doesn't go through her. It's not on the deck. It's only on the dress.
Little trickle down the side of the satin dress.
Yes.
And so then when I was just going to say, and he saves his son again, blows up Big Ben with that grenade. We just didn't really hit that sort of main story point.
Well, think about it like this, and this again could be way overthinking this movie because it's not supposed to be a deep into the swimming pool movie, but in the beginning, his agent was like, "We need a book. We need a book. It's been 3 years," and he could never get his Vietnam story off the ground. He'd click on the computer and click off, click on the computer and click off, and I think a light bulb went off in his head. If my aunt's house is available, I don't want to sell it because to do my book, I need to reconnect with this trauma of Vietnam. So he was going into the house hoping to reconnect with, God, I can't remember his name, the actor that he couldn't kill. And when he finally found him is when everything kind of circled and ended. He was able to complete his story. His redemption of not being able to mercy kill him. It's like, because he couldn't write the book, but he went into the house and conquered that beast. And I think that was kind of maybe a purposeful. Again, I'm probably thinking too deep, but that's what I got from it, because they set the whole movie up that he had to get, when's the new book coming out? So somebody asked him that in the line. And then right after that, the agent reinforced that we need a new book. It's been 3 years. And then he moves into the house that his aunt died in.
Yeah. You know what this movie was missing? This movie was missing a final scene where they're like in the bookstore. They like open up a box of the new Roger Cobb novels. And it's a novel it's just called House. And he's written the novelization of the movie we just watched with all the ghosts and the monsters.
It's like Chasing Amy.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the fish.
Oh my God. Let's talk about the fish.
I had to look this up because I was watching it thinking, oh yeah, this is like the same way that a big mouth, what are they called?
Billy bass.
Big belly bass the singing
Yeah.
novelty fish that everybody had. I was like, that's exactly how it moves. I wonder when that thing was invented. It was invented after this movie came out.
Yeah, by quite some margin, I would guess.
Yes. I guess I didn't.
That feels
write
like an
down the
early
date.
2000s thing to me.
It's not
Yeah.
quite the 2000s, but it was
Okay.
it was 90s. I think 91 or something like that.
Well, they used it. Did you guys see that? They had a whole episode basically in The Sopranos about that fish. Did you
Yes.
guys ever see that? Yeah.
I've never seen The
Absolutely.
Sopranos.
So if it's that time frame, it would have been mid to late 90s.
Yeah. I think it's around 91 or something. So after
sense.
House, so maybe the inventors of the Big Billy saw House and went, "Hey, that's a good idea."
Did you guys notice when they were in Vietnam and he was looking at his cigarette, but his cigarette was broken, and he asked Bull from Night Court for a cigarette? That whole scene, you remember that?
With the
Yeah.
snake?
Do you remember that? Yes, with the snake in the exactly. I found it odd as hell that he blows out his Zippo.
Yeah.
He's like, my cigarette's back. He goes, like, what the hell? That was a weird choice as an
weird
actor.
choice.
Yeah.
They
As
tried
though
that-
it were a match. Like you would blow out the match, of course.
Yeah.
If you didn't shake it, you would blow it out. But I've never seen anyone blow out a Zippo in my life.
I haven't either. And I almost got to think because half the shrubbery was plastic, they didn't want to chance it, so they had to blow the flame out. Maybe
See
that's
it.
reason.
Yeah, but closing it puts the flame out.
Yeah, but there's you and I know that, but there's maybe
He
the
shuts it
director-
right after. It was so weird to me. It was
It's-
like the
yeah,
pizza and the
it's a weird
Chinese
choice.
food. What about when he remote control turns off the kid? He's got the kids
yeah,
over in the other
in the
room, and he
window.
like turns them off with the reflection exactly.
Yeah.
I couldn't put, again, I'm trying to follow the story at this point. I can't
Yeah.
tell what's real, what's a
don't-
flashback, what's in his mind.
Yeah, I don't know if that like makes sense to me other than like yeah, I don't know. It is a weird moment. I think I don't know its meaning. I don't understand, like he's just
It felt
trying
like many other jump scares in this movie where it just didn't feel. My very next note was, "What the shit is this movie about?" Just figured I'd walk my dog in your yard. Yeah, he bought a pizza. They're eating Chinese. Oh, hitting the fish. That whole fish thing. I didn't mind the fish coming to life. The way he shot it and then left it and covered its face. I found that to be very cruel, and
So-
it made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable for the fish.
the reason he covers it with the towel was actually a continuity thing.
You're shitting me.
Because they didn't really explain the reasoning why. So I was trying to figure it out. They
I
talked
thought
about
it was
it
so
in,
the fish wouldn't look at him anymore.
well, that's maybe story wise, yes, but
oh, right.
production wise, they talk about it on the commentary track about how they put the towel because I guess they could they only had like one fish and they could like only blow out the side of the fish one time.
Mhm.
And so they couldn't like replace the fish. So all they did was they wrote in that covering it with the towel so that when they were shooting scenes later post shooting the fish, they just have to make sure that the towel's on the fish and they can get around the
Because
continuity
we can't
of it.
seal up the hole that's been blown up that hasn't really
Exactly,
been blown up. Oh my gosh,
exactly.
that's hilarious. So funny.
That's a Lloyd Kaufman gimmick that he used to do all the time. Is he would do stuff. It was like he would call it punk rock filmmaking, where it's like, oh, we blew the fish apart. We don't have another one. Put a towel over it. It's kind of
Yeah, it never. Yeah,
So
no
flip
one,
it over. Show the other
yeah.
side. That's funny.
Uh,
I had a note here. This guy would have died in Nam. There's no way he would have made
Yeah,
it. I
he
found him to
would've.
be quite an idiot.
he's a pretty boy.
He shot the girl. Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
85 is so. It seems like yesterday in a way to me, but when I saw he was in Nam, I'm like, that was so long ago, and he looked like he could have been maybe 28, 30 years old, and so to me that didn't add up. But then when I think 85, I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
didn't
not that
actually
far
even think-
before.
Yeah.
But the
Especially with a lot of the
Okay.
kids in Nam were, 18, 21.
Yeah. 19, Paul Hardcastle.
There you go.
Great song. Yeah, so back to the release. Limited release December 6, 1985. wide release February 28th, 1986. House opened up number 1 in 1986 when it went wide. I don't have the numbers for the 1985. I only have the numbers for the 1986 wide release. It opened up number 1 to $6.4 million off of
it doubled. It's got
Yes.
200% of its money back on the opening weekend.
Exactly.
That doesn't happen.
And it beat Pretty in Pink, the John Hughes film, by $300,000. Now, again, on the DVD,
how long was that out?
That was the same day. They were released the same day. Now, in the DVD commentary, they talk about how the numbers were fudged because they actually announced that Pretty in Pink was the number 1 movie. And because the margins were so small, they didn't want to say House was number 1 and Pretty in Pink was number 2.
Oh my God.
So they fudged the numbers. So on paper, it was House beat Pretty in Pink by 300,000, but the news cycle was that Pretty in Pink was number 1. You know, they adjusted, numbers for tracking or whatever they were doing to just fudge up that $300,000 to make Pretty in Pink number 1.
Honestly, studio-wise, that makes so much sense because just PR-wise even and just business-wise, like if one's already made its money back and will continue to make some, we need to get our money back on that other one. So let's promo that.
And
Yeah, Jay, maybe you can tell me this, but I've always heard it to be Hollywood math is double the budget to break even. Is that about right? Like if the budget was
what you need to cover is the marketing. Nobody ever considers the marketing, and the marketing is depending on the budget of the movie. It's sometimes 100% of the budget of the movie.
Yeah.
And so in that case, yes, what you're talking about is exactly true. Where if a movie is $50 million, they might spend 40-50 million bucks in marketing for that movie.
Advertising, yes.
Yeah.
And they don't normally include that marketing number in a lot of the budget information,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Well, what I'm thinking is House was kind of an unexpected hit, and basically they were in the green in the first week where Pretty in Pink probably had a huge marketing budget, and they wanted to push that. Yeah. So
So that's what I was saying. They've already made their money back and then some over here, and that'll continue to draw. But what we need to focus on is this one over here. So whether it's true or not, some fudging. Brandon mentioned some fudging. Like it kind of makes sense business-wise.
Yeah, they do that in the music business. Like if there's a record that costs 100,000 to make, and it blows it out of the water, and the next record was $1 million to make, they'll fudge the numbers in Billboard to keep people pushing that and get press.
Yeah,
because the people behind Pretty in Pink sunk a ton of money into that because John Hughes was such a moneymaker. You know?
Yeah. And even though those people weren't huge names yet, they're still, you paid for some cast in there too.
But here's another interesting part of that story. Week 2, Pretty in Pink is number 1, and it beat House by $1.2 million. The second
That
week.
sounds more right. Yeah.
Yes. But that just goes to show you that House comes out, everybody goes see the horror comedy movie. They don't really know about this like teen comedy, but then the word got out like, no, you have to go see this Pretty in Pink movie. So week 2, there's bigger numbers. More people are coming to see Pretty in Pink week 2.
That
makes sense, especially if you're saying like, oh, this is the new hot thing. It was number 1 last week.
Exactly. Here is the breakdown of a couple of films of the week of February 28th, 1986. House, number 1, as I mentioned, Pretty in Pink. Number 2, both new this week. Number 3, Down and Out, Beverly Hills.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, wow.
That's 85?
No, 86. 86.
Oh, shit.
Because of how this released.
Yeah,
yes, we're technically talking about 86 movies. Down and Out, Beverly Hills has been out for 1 week. A rollover from 1985 at number 4, 3 weeks. The Color Purple. And then number 5, Hannah and Her Sisters, the Woody Allen film.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Color Purple ended up winning the Oscar that year, right?
Yes. Or was it no? It's called no. I think Color Purple is 85.
Oh no, you're right.
Wait.
You're right.
It may win some Oscars, but Best Picture I know goes to Out of Africa.
For
this year.
86.
Yeah.
Got it.
House goes on to make $22 million worldwide. So pretty successful for a $3 to $3.5 million film.
That
Again,
they probably didn't market at all, especially if they did limited release.
Exactly. So the budget is $3 million, but there is a number that's 3.5. So I'm thinking maybe the extra 0.5 is what they put into marketing.
Sure.
But yeah, no wonder they ended up making a sequel, because a $3.5 million investment to a $22 million, that's a no-brainer. You're doing a second story.
200% in 3 days. That's the thing there. That's where they greenlighted immediately. We already have our money back. Why not reinvest?
Yeah, House 2 was a $3 million budget, and it made 10, which was still a couple of million to the green for the studio.
Yeah.
So they made a third one and a fourth one. I bet everybody in the studio was just freaked out that we going, you mean House is number one over this movie, this movie? It was like,
Yeah.
it was one of those movies that had to be word of mouth successful, because they didn't put a ton of backing behind some B-level horror movie. They didn't even know it would work with really no superstars in the cast except for, George. He was kind of the biggest name as far as that had a notable role.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you pointed out television, and television doesn't mean anything in 2026. But in 1985, like, the people that are on these shows are getting like a third of the viewing public every week on their shows. So you're right. They weren't like film stars and they weren't movie stars, but they were recognizable people in everyone's homes every single week back then. There were only 3 channels before Fox came around in '89, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
in USA.
But on the movie poster, it doesn't say like starring Arnold Schwarzenegger or starring.
No, you're right.
guy.
Yeah.
It would have to be word of mouth. You're right.
They're
You're
relying
exactly right.
solely on creepy, cool imagery, right?
To sell it. You're right.
Whereas blockbuster movies back then always advertised their stars. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't really look. I don't think
You're
they looked at House as being a star-driven movie.
No,
exactly.
you're very much right. I was kind of making your point of it's the word of mouth. It's kind of like, oh, but it's got so and 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 so in it.
Perfect.
One point I wanted to make. So we sort of had talked about House, the second story, goofy, fun, very silly movie. Much more, I would say, kid-centric.
I can't believe that. It looked darker.
No,
I'm watching it tonight. I'm watching House 2 tonight.
House 3 is very dark and very much like a more of an adult movie. With House 3, it actually isn't called House 3 in North America. It was only internationally called House 3 because MGM took over the distribution and they wanted to not be connected to the other sequels, the other films, because it also is its own self-contained story with new characters. Very different tone. Not the greatest movie.
They're trying to spin off.
Yeah.
Branch off. Got it.
But House 4, this is what I wanted to talk about. House 4, Repossession, brings back William Katt as Roger Cobb. The crazy thing that they do is he has a new family in the movie. He has a new wife, and he has a 12-year-old daughter. And
so it's not even the same story. It's like a total departure.
No, he inherits a haunted house from his father in the movie, but they go out of their way and they call him
luckiest
Roger
guy in the
Cobb.
world.
Yeah.
I was like, either the the relationship with Sandy didn't work out, and him and
she took the kid.
Yes, exactly. She gets full custody of Jimmy, and then he goes and he marries into another family, or he secretly has 2 families and 2 houses. But it was just,
and the women don't know, but America does.
Exactly. It was just the most it's the most wild thing. Like, I understand bringing the character back, but giving him a new family, it's just
what the hell is that?
It's so weird.
Even in Jaws 4, when they bring the family back, we're back to the wife of the chief and everything. It's
exactly.
At least it's the same family. It's the same island. It all makes sense.
Yes,
It tracks.
Yes.
Well, I felt like there was a lot of stuff that was disjointed in this movie, so maybe that's just the whole franchise.
I think it is. It's like the tone is all over the place.
There's so much stuff you have to forgive, though. It almost has to be a kids movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like an adult would pick it apart.
I think it's very family, young, teen centric, right? It's like
They
maybe
shouldn't
they.
be thinking about Vietnam and PTSD. Then
I
it's an
know, and
adult
that's what's so
storyline.
weird about it. Like that is what's weird. And if you do watch House 2, the second story, it's a completely different tone, but it is still in the same horror comedy
Okay,
feel.
I like Ari Gross a lot. He's great. He's the main guy.
Okay, so before we get to our ratings, which I'm so glad the power's holding on, uh,
when I moved in here, I don't. You could see the lights flickering a little bit.
I saw it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Did you get on your cell phone in case the internet goes out? Is that why you did that?
No, I charged it fully before we started, and I didn't realize it would go down. But Brandon told me to get my charger, and I thought he
Yep.
was talking about a laptop. For some
Oh
reason,
yeah, no.
but-
This show sucks battery life.
yeah. So
There's our first merch.
yeah.
Okay, so before we get to our star ratings, do you know the app Letterboxd, Rayan? Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I love Letterboxd. You log your movies, you review movies, and I like to pull people's reviews for the films that we're talking about. So here are some Letterboxd reviews for the 1985 film House. PD187 says, absolutely no joke when I declared the so-called inventors of Big Mouth Billy Bass should cut royalty checks to this movie.
Big Mouth Billy Bass. That's what it was. That's right.
Big Mouth Billy Bass, yeah. Ilet says, the way he put the toothpaste in his mouth instead of on the toothbrush, he deserves everything that happened to him.
Oh, man.
Now,
At one point, I made a comment that said this movie shouldn't be called House. It should be called This Guy Sucks.
I found that review after my first viewing. I watched it again with commentary, and I saw the same thing when I was rewatching it. I was like, oh my God, he puts the toothpaste in his mouth before he brushes his teeth. He actually doesn't. He puts the toothpaste on the toothbrush below frame, and then he sucks a little bit of the toothpaste off of the tube before putting it back in.
Same thing.
So it's still weird.
He's still doing the weird part.
It's still a weird activity, but to Roger Cobb's credit, he's not putting the toothpaste in his mouth before brushing his teeth. Still
I think this makes it worse. I think it would make more sense if he had a different way of doing it. Yes, now he's doing
toothpaste.
Yes. I bet he puts his fingers right in the peanut butter too. You know?
I forgot to read the star rating. So the Big Mouth Billy Bass review was 4 stars and a heart.
Nice.
Ilet with the toothbrush was 3.5 stars. Justin says, well, you don't get comedies about Vietnam PTSD and missing children very often. 2.5 stars.
Well, I mean, this is our point. Yes.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Pick a lane.
Mike says, I like that Skeletor and Buzz-Off make cameos on this. 3.5 stars. And then Ethan says, the Muppets go to hell. 3 stars.
That's amazing.
Well, I think that, I mean, we've conquered House. We've talked longer than the runtime of the film. Jay, do you want to do your star rating first, or do you want me to go first?
Oh, I don't care. I should probably go first. I don't have anything bad to say about. I don't want to crap on it because I definitely hear how much that it's being enjoyed here tonight. This is the best part of House for me, was talking about it with you two. I couldn't find anything to like. I didn't understand why it was it was very disjointed to me. Again, maybe if I watch it again, I'll be able to put the pieces together. I don't know. It almost felt like a joke. I felt like you guys were tricking me and that everybody would give this like no stars or something. I didn't realize it would actually be a beloved classic.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like the joke's on me a little bit. But I do love George Wendt, and this had George Wendt in it, and he was a great old George Wendt for me. So, it has 1 star because of George Wendt, but I didn't know where to go with it from there.
Wow,
1
1
star.
star, hey?
I don't understand it. It felt like a movie of the week that there was never any development. I feel like somebody said, "Here's some money, go make a movie," and there was no thought put into it.
I mean,
That's how I understand exactly what it was made. They just threw the money at the guy and said, "Make something."
Yeah, do
Yeah.
something.
Shows.
But
But it made its money back. So I mean, business wise,
know,
like who am I to say? Who am I to critique it?
Yeah, lots of bad things make money though.
But by the way, I'm giving it 1 star, and I genuinely may watch the second one tonight. I probably will watch the second one tonight.
I actually like the second one better, to be honest.
People do. I've seen that people like the second one better, but maybe it's knowing what the tone of these movies are by going into the second one. You're like prepared for what the second one provides.
It might be that because this is not the movie I thought it was going to be. So that was
and
part of it. I kept trying to understand where are we, what's going on here.
Yeah.
So I don't mean it's not a mean 1 star. It's just I don't know what else to do 1 star.
Yeah, it's totally fair. Rayan, your star rating for House.
When I was 8 years old and I went to see it 3 times in the theater, I guess by the 3rd time I really appreciated it. So 8-year-old me would have given it 4 stars. Back then I really loved it, and this was the first time I've seen it in a long time. So this was really a pleasure to be a part of this and to revisit that movie I loved. But as an adult, I would still probably give it 3.5 stars.
That's fair.
And he definitely made me sound like even more of an asshole. Should I make it 2 stars just out of pity? I don't know.
Hey, you do whatever you want. It's your opinion, and that's
you're
entitled to it.
I know. I still want to hang out with you guys, though.
No.
Well, I like this movie a lot. I don't think everything is as well crafted as some of the other movies that I love. I think that there is better horror comedies out there. I think that there is horror comedies that play back and forth better. I think there's obviously movies that are better written, but there is lots in this movie that I enjoy. I love the creatures. I love George Wendt. I love the establishing shots of the house. I just like the house that they chose.
I agree.
So I am a 3 stars and a heart because I get enough out of this movie that I have a good time watching it. I do not know the next time I'm going to watch it because I've watched it twice in a row for this show. So it could be another 10 years, but I will tell you one thing. I do not regret buying these Blu-rays of House and House 2, the second story. I do not think I will be purchasing House 3 and House 4 Repossession. I am glad to continue to watch those for free on Tubi and on YouTube. But this film, House, is a solid 3 stars for me. That being said, let me just give you my ratings for the other films. So, House, 3 stars and a heart. House 2, 2 stars and a heart. House 3, aka The Horror Show, 2 stars, no heart. And House 4, 2 stars, no heart. So, the heart carries a lot because House 2 I don't think is a well-made movie, but it has a lot of great stuff in it. Whereas I mean, House is marginally a better made movie. And I don't know if that deters you from watching House 2, Jay, but
Of course it does. Of course it does. But the trailer made me, after this one, it was because it was Tubi, and it actually just started playing into the next one, and I didn't realize that was happening after the credits, because I got grief for not watching the credits the other day. So I wanted to make sure to do that, and it just went into the next one, and I didn't realize it was even sort of happening, and then so I went back and watched the trailer. All right, I don't know.
Here's the thing with House 2.
I want to see if it's the American Horror Story house. Maybe that's why I'll check it out.
Okay. In House 2, one of the things is they dig up a corpse and it comes back to life, and it's kind of cool. But then nothing else really happens for so long, probably 40 minutes of the movie. Oh. This guy is just sort of like hanging around the house, and there's not a lot of action, not even a lot of like horror haunted house stuff going on. It's more like the bank foreclosing, like there's like weird stuff. So that's why it gets the 2 stars, because there's a big chunk in the middle of the movie that nothing haunted happens.
I still liked it, but to be honest, I never saw 3 or 4. I think I was phased out of this series, but I'm curious to go. What would you say, Brandon? Does 3 hold up?
3 is a very different, darker tone. Lance Hendrickson is cool. The bad guy is the actor from Blade Runner. He's the first replicant that Deckard is interviewing at that table.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's in tons of stuff, but Lenny
guy is Lenny's the character's name for Blade Runner, but I think it's Lenny. But yeah, that actor is the main bad serial killer guy that is haunting Lance Hendrickson's house and family. Very, very different tone of a movie, much darker. In fact, there's actually an uncut version that you can watch on YouTube. The Tubi version is the theatrical release, but there's an uncut version with some more gore and violence on YouTube that you could watch. So maybe if you're going to check out House 3, find the uncut version on YouTube and watch that one.
Nice.
And I've confirmed they are very different houses while the same style. So maybe I don't need to watch it.
I will say all 4 House movies do contain a house, and ultimately that's all they need.
Delivered as promised.
And the same guy inherits a second haunted house in the last movie.
Yes, exactly. He inherits a new family and a new house.
That's ridiculous.
Well, before we wrap up here, next week we are going to have our guest is going to be 80s Life. You can find him on YouTube.
Oh, fun.
Kurt Crucial is going to be joining us, and his selection was a TV movie. It is Weird Al Yankovic's The Complete Al, which is a mockumentary essentially about Weird Al. It's the subline here is the amazing and almost true life story of a rock and roll legend. This film is a little bit hard to find, so I've already located an internet archive link of the film. So I'll be posting that so everybody can go and they can watch The Complete Al.
Thank you for that, Brandon.
Yeah, it's a made-for-TV mockumentary with music videos in it. But so yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about Weird Al in general all next week with 80s Life.
Yeah, I think Kurt's a big fan of Weird Al, so that makes sense.
Before we say goodbye to the chat here, there was a few outstanding here. Terry Anderson says, I live 45 minutes from Twin Peaks in Bend, Washington. Big fan. We go to the cafe for cherry pie and a damn fine cup of coffee often. Nice. Have you ever been up there, Brandon?
I go to North Bend and Snoqualmie as often as I can.
All the time.
I love it there. I go to the Snoqualmie Falls and the hotel that's there, the Salish Lodge and Spa, which was the Great Northern Hotel, because they have their in-room soap and shampoo is like the best smelling shampoo I've
Oh,
ever had. Renee and I stayed there one year, and so every time I go, I have to go to the gift shop and I buy shampoo from
extra to take home.
Nice.
I
Oh,
love it
that's
down there.
awesome. All right, well,
And
I will need some tips on that because that sounds like a place I'd like to visit on one of my trips.
oh yeah, if you're going to North Bend or Snoqualmie, I'll come down and I'll meet you. We'll go spend the day in Twin Peaks because that's one of my
Cool.
favorite places in the world.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Very cool.
And
Oregonian Dave says he keeps hearing Parliament after Brendan says Big Ben every time. Yeah, me too. Me
it's a
too.
vacation.
I do
Well,
want to
Jay,
show this too. Brian James is the actor's name in House
Oh, there
3.
you go.
Yeah.
He said he's also an enemy mine.
He was an Enemy Mine? I
That's
must
what
have
it
missed him.
says.
Huh.
Yeah. Awesome.
well,
Um
Jay, I'll send you all the links we were talking about early on Instagram DM
Please,
with
yeah, please do. Please do. And or I'm probably going to look for that. And I definitely will be watching that Colonial Street
yeah,
video tonight.
that's what I was talking about.
'Cause-
I'll send you those links.
Please, yeah, if you would mind, that'd be great. I've had the conversation with him, and he was like, I always wanted to go be here and be able to walk around freely and do all of the Burbs locations. And I was like, dude, we can do that. Like I can, we can probably work that out. We never got to do it. It's a bummer.
You'll see how excited he was when he found all those spots, and I'll send you a couple of other things, and I'll send both of you guys. I actually have an indie film I wrote and made back in 2009. It's like a quirky comedy, but it got
And
a
you made
small
it?
release.
It's
Yeah, I wrote it, directed it, scored it, the whole nine. And
wow.
what the heck? That's
yeah,
amazing, man. What an accomplishment.
it's on
Please send it. I'd
YouTube.
love to check that out.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's called Nido Mosquito. It's very much like I don't know, it's like Napoleon Dynamite kind of a comedy.
Oh, sweet.
My wife
But
used to rep that guy, John Heater.
oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm in. I'm in. Send it. I'd love to check it
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, I'll put it down in the description after you send it.
I'll send
Nice.
it here in a few minutes. But hopefully, I'm trying not to lose power. We still got the storm. Are we done?
Yeah,
don't
I
want
think
it to
we're
cut off.
no, we're just saying our goodbyes. Everybody follow Nerd Locations on
Yes.
Instagram.
Good stuff.
Subscribe to the Nerd Locations page. Check them out on the Idiots in Bars podcast. Those
Yeah.
links are down in the description below. Rayan, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you, man. It was great to be on. If you ever get desperate and can't find a guest, hit me up.
Will do. Thank you very much.
It was so great to hang out with you, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for everything. And when I'm coming through your area, I'm gonna crash your little bar show if you'll have me. I wanna
Yeah.
come see that.
I would love for you to do that. And
Okay.
but it was great to finally officially meet you, Jay.
Same here, man, for sure. Thanks. And keep up the good work. Your Instagram's great. I follow it every day.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
See you later, man. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Have a good night.
All right, buddy.
Bye,
Talk to
Rayan.
you later.
I'll remove
What
you
a
there.
good dude.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Uh-oh. This happened again.
Oh, did you lose the audio now?
It's me. It's not you. I'll just refresh.
I can still hear you. So, well, thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully Jay can get back in. If not, I will do his plugs. Jay Ryan, he's Porsche Life 111 on Instagram, or the Late Night Playset. He does a weekly show on Tuesdays where he sits behind David Letterman's desk and talks to interesting people. Last night's episode was Simon Wells, the great grandson of H.G. Wells and Phil Morris.
I thought that. We found out it's just one great.
Oh, it is only great. It's only one great. Okay,
Yeah, I
Simon
thought it was
Wells.
at least two greats.
Yeah, great grandson to H.G. Wells and Phil Morris, who you all know as Jackie Childs from Seinfeld. I haven't had a chance to check out that episode, but I'm definitely gonna watch it probably tomorrow. I'll listen to it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Um,
Thanks. Those guys were amazing. Honestly, I for once I actually shut the hell up because those guys just talking to each other, both as legacies,
Yeah.
is amazing. Because obviously you mentioned H.G. Wells, but Phil's dad was Greg Morris from
Yes.
the original Mission Impossible
Yes.
series, and he was like mega famous back then.
yeah.
So they both have, a lot of family lineage to live up to.
Yeah.
It's cool listening to them dig deep.
Well,
So thanks for that. Thanks for the plug, man.
Of course. I didn't know if you were coming back. I got to do your plug.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, thank you so much. Porsche Life 111, obviously late night place at Good Vibes Breakfast Club if you're in the LA area and like cars. Obviously, a blockbuster year because Brandon and I want to keep doing this show. So we need people to watch it, and we need eventually people to pay for it too, right? We'll work on that.
Yeah. I mean, the show will always be free, but maybe
yeah.
there's some merch. There's you never know. Work on it.
I love that.
Yeah. So subscribe to A Blockbuster Year. We do this show live every Wednesday, 6:00 Pacific Standard Time. I'm BC DeLorean on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. We're doing a lot of garage renovations. I just posted a video today of our Doc Brown workbench that we're building, and
looks like Doc's whole workshop to me, man. Looks like you're going above and beyond on this one.
Yeah, it's really coming together. Really, really excited about it. It's looking great. So. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for the rewatch, for listening. We're glad everybody's here. We will see you next week with
Thanks
80s
for
Life.
in the chat all night.
80s Life, Kurt Crucial. We'll be talking a lot of Weird Al and specifically the Complete Al. And it's, as you can see, it's the Complete EAT Al.
Uh-oh. I would have looked it up wrong.
Yeah. I'll send you the link, Jade. And I'll be posting I'll be posting the link so that everybody has the ability to watch it, because it is an out of print, hard to find DVD of a Showtime TV movie. So I will be sharing that.
This feels like half an episode. It's only been 2.5 hours.
I know exactly. What are we doing? But some episodes like House, it's how do you talk about House for 3 hours? Brazil, I get it. House, I don't know if we could sustain that conversation.
Was Brazil the 4-hour one?
Yes, Brazil was our nearly 4-hour episode, but there was a lot to unpack there with our own feelings, plus just what the film presents as well.
Yeah. Awesome. This was fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. Well,
that's a good point.
We'll see you next week. I love you, Jay. I
love you, Brandon. Thank you so much for all the work you put into this show. It's so much fun to do it with you. I love it. It's so great. Well, thank you all for being here. See you next week. Thank you for watching. We love you.
Love you.